Good morning, Marla ma'am.
Good morning, Sonali. How are you?
Fine, ma'am.
Good morning, Malama.
Good morning, Amrit. Morning, Ritu.
Good
Dr.
morning,
Rekha.
ma'am. Good morning, Mala ma'am.
Good morning, all the ma'ams.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to see you.
I know we're getting
Good
a
morning,
chance at
everyone.
least to do this online. I hope.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Asha
Good
ma'am.
morning, Asha.
Good morning, Dr. Asha. Can I just check whether I can share my PPT?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes.
I cannot see myself.
You'll have to enable screen sharing.
Madhura, please enable screen sharing for Mala ma'am.
We have to enable the screen sharing for Marla.
Yes.
Ma'am, you can share it. You can share the screen.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Just give me a minute.
Ma'am, we have enabled the screen sharing for Marla ma'am. She can share.
Yes.
Are you able to see it?
Yes.
Ma'am.
Okay. I'll stop sharing. Thank you.
If there are any videos, ma'am, if you want to try, you can try for videos also. So that we
No.
get to know about the audios.
Not really, because it's just 15 minutes, so I thought not to try out anything which might go wrong. So it's just a PPT. I will kind of come back at 11. I'll be in the room, but
Good morning, Vishnu Priya.
Good morning, Asha.
How are you?
I'm absolutely fine. Enjoying in Kolkata.
Oh, you're in Kolkata?
Yeah.
ভালো আছো? কি ভালো আছো?
I enjoy করছি vacation.
আচ্ছা।
Good morning, Rasgupta ma'am.
Good morning.
Has Aarti joined?
Yes.
Okay.
She's there. Who's there now? 1 second. Arti. Oh. I think Aarti, she was there. Now she's not there. Aarti is not to be seen.
I think Aarti ma'am has not joined yet.
Yeah, she was there. Now she's not there. I think disconnect हो गया.
Disconnect हो गया होगा.
Just
उसका
check.
network का कुछ issue
हाँ,
हो गया.
maybe. Yeah, network is unstable.
मैं उसको I'll send her a message.
Yeah. Okay.
Madhura, Aarti is trying to join, but she's saying that she's not able. You're not letting her in. ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है that she's not able to join. Can you please?
Ma'am, I'll just check with it.
Aarti type कर मत. She able
But
to-
see,
Yes,
Aarti.
Aarti.
Has Aarti been able to join?
Ma'am, it is open for everyone. We are just checking with the ma'am and sharing a link with her on her private number. So we'll
Okay.
just get back to you in much.
Okay. 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 It's 11. Ritu?
Hello. Yes, Amrita. Aarti join.
Ma'am, उनका कुछ issue हो रहा है. They are sorting it out. Maybe we could start.
Oh, okay, okay, we'll start. Okay, Ritu, let us begin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning, all. I welcome you all who are present here. Yeah, someone's mic is on. Please mute yourself. Good morning and welcome you all present here. I, Dr. Ritu Bhatia, on behalf of Faculty of Home Science of Srimati P.N. Doshi Women's College, is happy to welcome all the dignitaries and participants for UG Home Science and Home Economics Intercollegiate Students Online Research Competition, which is named as Urjita. So today we are here for Urjita 2022. The journey of Urjita started in the year 2016 with the motive to develop the research culture in UG students. We are proud to say that we have completed 5 successful years in organizing this competition, and today we are here for the 6th Urjita competition. With Urjita, we aim to recognize the research potential in the budding students and to give them a platform to discover their research capabilities. We always strive to develop right values of research in students and also encourage them to go for postgraduate studies with research knowledge in their armor. Keeping our tradition alive, even during these trying times, we have organized Urjita on digital platform and called paper presentation in the form of video. The theme for this year's Urjita competition was decided keeping in mind the current situation out there where world is trying to settle down post-COVID pandemic. COVID has changed many things around us. We had learned new ways to survive this pandemic. However, there are trials and difficulties we have faced, but there are opportunities also. We have learned a lot during this tasting time, and we have endured so far the unexpected crisis fallen on all of us. Keeping all this in mind, we have decided the current year's Urjita theme as challenges and opportunities in a changing world. Looking at the magnitude of impact this pandemic has created and how this has transformed many things, we home science faculty had decided to explore the theme through the third year home science and home economics research projects. On behalf of home science faculty, we heartily welcome our director ma'am, Dr. S. Kumudavali, principal ma'am of Srimati P.N. Joshi Women's College, Dr. Asha Menon, home science vice principal ma'am, Dr. Rekha Randive ma'am, keynote speaker for the conference, Dr. Marla Pandurang, and the respected judges. We warmly welcome all the faculty delegates, mentors, student participants, and paper presenters in today's event. The Faculty of Home Science wishes all the paper presenting teams great success in the competition. With this, we start the flow of the program. First, I would like to invite our principal madam, Dr. Asha Menon ma'am, for her welcome speech. Welcome you, ma'am.
One second.
Asha ma'am.
Chaudhary Shaheen. 1 second. Chaudhary Shaheen, please mute yourself.
She has been muted.
Asha ma'am, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ritu Bhatia. Good morning and welcome to Urjita 2022, Challenges and Opportunities in a Changing World, organized by the Faculty of Home Science. The world around us has become very unpredictable and has created many challenges, which has forced us to re-examine our lives. The grim and complex situation caused by a great impact on every sphere of our lives, from economy to the society we live in. However, along with challenges came great opportunities for changes and improvements, for innovations and creative solutions, some of which should be adopted and incorporated in our daily lives. Choices made now will have far-reaching consequences. The crisis showed us that people and institutions can make massive adjustments in their lives overnight, and that in crisis, we can work together and help each other out. I would like to welcome Dr. Marla Pandurang, the keynote speaker for today, the judges, Dr. Bishnupriya Dasgupta and Dr. Arthur Varma, this paper presentation competition. I'm sure the judges are going to have a very tough time judging the competition. I would also like to welcome all the student paper presenters and the other students too. It's going to be a great learning experience for all of us. I hope this research competition looks into different aspects of the challenges and opportunities in this changing world. I wish the paper presenters the very best. I would like to congratulate the Faculty of Home Science for conducting this research competition, Urjita, year after year. Wishing this competition the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Asha ma'am, for your inspiring words. Now I would like to invite convener of this year's Urjita, Ms. Amrita Bahal, for giving the concept note of the competition. Over to you, Amrita.
Thank you very much, Ritu. And as expressed by our principal, Dr. Asha Menon, yes, the past 2 years have been very different. It has been very different for people across the world. And therefore, it was only befitting that we choose this as a theme of our competition. This unpredictability and volatility of these last 2 years did pose a lot of challenges, but it also brought along with it an unprecedented opportunity and renewed focus on innovation and development to meet these rapidly changing demands, to achieve optimum outcomes in almost all aspects of our being. So while all of these online platforms were always available, but we really never felt the need to explore this. A lot of other teaching learning opportunities were available, a lot of other networking opportunities were available, but we didn't really make use of it. But this pandemic forced us to, explore these options, and we've realized how well they have been able to influence every aspect of our life, our livelihood, our healthcare system, our educational system, the financial transactions, the workspaces, our travel, our social interactions, and many more aspects. So the world community today seems to be more connected and is truly transformed into a global village like never before, with interactions, network, and knowledge sharing breaking boundaries of time, space, and distance. While each one of us has experienced this change through our own frames of reference, we thought as an institution that it would be worthwhile to understand these experiences through more systematic, in-depth research studies. Therefore, we at Srimati P.N. Doshi College have set this rapidly evolving change as a theme of our students' research competition, as we felt that it would be interesting to map this change through the eyes of our young budding researchers and developing interesting perspectives on the same. I'm sure all the viewers, all the audience of this research competition is going to learn something new and interesting today. We wish the competition all the best. Thank you, Ritu.
Thank you, Amrita. Now we move ahead and I invite Ms. Sonali Doshi for introducing keynote speaker for today's conference, Dr. Marla Pandurang, ma'am. Over to you, Sonali.
Thank you, Dr. Ritu. Marla Pandurang is professor, principal at Dr. BMN College of Home Science, Autonomous Mumbai. She is a postdoctoral fellow of the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation, Germany, and is also their ambassador scientist to India. Her research grants include Fulbright Visiting Professor at the University of Texas at Austin, recipient of the Charles Walls Research Grant to UK, one major grant research and 3 minor grants research from the University Grant Commission, New Delhi. INLAC's Fellowship in Social Sciences from the Asiatic Society, Mumbai, Associateship at the Indian Institute of Advanced Studies, Shimla, and NET JRF from UGC. In 2021, she was a team member of an international collaborative project titled COVID-19, exploring the experiences of young people across sub-Saharan Africa and India, Tech-19, between the University of Southampton and Dr. BMN College. Presently, she is working on a Dr. Arun Tikekar Research Fellowship from the Asiatic Society of Mumbai. She is series editor of the Post-Colonial Lives, RIL, and is a member of the editorial board of the Journal of South Asian Diaspora, Taylor and Francis. In 2012, ma'am received the SNDT Women's University Mahashik Karve Utkrisht Shikshak Puraskar Best Teacher Award from the Government of Maharashtra. Under her tenure, Dr. BMN has been awarded a unique UGC grant to establish a research capacity building center, and it is the only undergraduate college in Mumbai to have got the grant. Dr. Marla Pandurang is a recognized PhD guide with SNDT Women's University and a PhD referee for many universities within and outside Maharashtra. She is a prolific researcher and has published and presented research papers at numerous international and national fora. Over to you, Dr. Ritu Bhatia.
Thank you so much, Sonali. Now I take this opportunity to invite our respected keynote speaker for today's competition, Dr. Marla Pandurang. Welcome you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you very much. If you just give me a minute, I will share my screen.
Yes, ma'am, sure.
It's quite visible to everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I am not able to manipulate it. Just 1 minute. I will stop sharing and sharing. Yeah. So thank you very much, Dr. Asha Menon, for this very warm welcome online. Although we are digitally connected and not physically connected, I can feel the warmth of your institution, as well as warm welcome of all your faculty members, the organizing committee, who have been kind enough to invite me to speak Research is a lifetime commitment, it's a lifetime passion. And it's really difficult to speak to you about what is research all about in just 15 minutes. But what I'm going to do is I will just maybe try to offer a brief overview and some food for thought for those students who have been old enough, who have been enthusiastic enough to participate in this competition, as well as for the other students whom I think will benefit greatly from any initiative that your institution takes to encourage you to do research. Because we all tend to think that research is something only for a select few of students, it's only for the brainy students, it's only for bookworms. And we tend to not understand how research will actually help you to go far ahead in both your professional and your personal life. So let's use the next 10 minutes or so just to reflect upon how can research be a stepping stone to your future. We already have participants who are ready to present their projects, and I wish them all the best. And those who have done many research projects will be well aware of the basic research design that one follows, and this is known as a linear design. We select a research problem, and this is perhaps the most difficult part of research, because you have to decide on what kind of problem can you address, what is the main issue that troubles you, that concerns you, that puzzles you, that you are passionate about and you would like to take it ahead. Your review of literature, where you have the extensive background reading about the particular area that you've decided to work on. And once that's done, then we come to the formulation of a research statement. Many times research scholars tend to do this in the beginning itself. They say, this is what I want to work on. And they come up with a research statement and a hypothesis without really spending time on investigating problems that would interest them and do sufficient background reading before they arrive at the formulation of the research statement or hypothesis. And of course, those students who are participating in the competition will be well aware of this. And I'm sure the other students have had some background from your teachers of what is the different kinds of appropriate methodology. How are you going to go about doing your research project? Is it quantitative? Is it qualitative? Are you going to use interviews? Are you going to do a survey? Are you going to have case studies? Are you going to do field work? And what is the appropriate methodology for the topic that you have chosen? The documentation of data. How are you going to compile all this data and put it together? How are you going to analyze your data? And this is a very important component of doing any kind of research. You just can't present that data in terms of just information. This is where you as a thinker comes in. And this is where the research helps you to develop your thinking and analytical skills. So you learn analysis, you learn how to look at the data you've got, and you need learn to sift it through your own mind and not through the minds of other scholars who have looked at the study. Interpretation. I think it's very important that students do a bit of undergraduate research, and I applaud your college for having this initiative, because these are two skills that when they just do projects without any research background, they collect the data, they present the data, but there is no analysis and there is no interpretation. And today, I think, I'm sure the judges are going to evaluate you on how have you interpreted your data, how have you discussed your interpretation, and how are you presenting your findings. This is very important criteria whenever someone is judging how good is your research project. You went out there, you collected information, you got statistics, all that is fine. How are you interpreting? How are you presenting your findings? And ultimately, whatever you do has to be shared with others. And so publication of the data becomes extremely important. And I'm sure that all the students who have done projects and are presenting today will definitely think in terms of publication. And once research has excited you, then you look for a new question. And this leads you to a new study. And that's why I said research becomes a lifetime project. Because you say, I've looked at one issue. And when I've looked at one issue, there are 10 more issues that have come up. So can I use this for my new study? Can I use this for my next study? This is known as the helical process. Earlier, I explained the linear process. And what is the helical process? It's a circular process because it keeps going in a circular manner. You have a problem, data collection, data analysis, publication, new study. Again, the problem, data collection, analysis, publication. And this is how those of us who are really passionate at research, we don't stop with just one project presentation that we have done. In other words, just to summarize what it's all about, it's an inquiry into facts by systematic investigation. And this is very important. It goes beyond the mere transference of information. You're not just taking information off the internet, you're not copy pasting it. You're not just repeating what your teacher has said. You are not just asking for notes and being parrots, but it goes beyond it. You're analyzing and then you have a transference of information. And to be a good researcher, you require a series of questions that are properly framed. This is why doing research at undergraduate level is very important because you learn to ask questions. And this is something, unfortunately, our system so far has not really encouraged. And you are very fortunate that you have teachers, you have an institution that is now training you on how to ask a properly framed question. This is a very important part of the research project. It's not just asking a question, but how do you ask the question and how does that lead to the discovery of something that you did not know and others did not know? Curiosity. We're told as children that curiosity killed the cat. I don't think so. I don't believe. I think that curiosity is what keeps us alive. Curiosity is what keeps us going. Curiosity is what distinguishes a good student from an average student. It's curiosity that has led to so many discoveries in the world. Scientists asked, why does it rain? And now we have a scientific explanation. Why is a tomato red? The philosopher would ask, why is there life in the university? Or perhaps someone into astrology would ask, is there life in the universe? But someone in philosophy would ask, why do people smile? Someone in psychology would be asking themselves, why do people smile? You ask questions. You have to be curious about every small thing that you have around you. And research is very important because it develops the skill of curiosity in you. At the end of the day, you have to analyze your own project. Does it offer information that others also do not already know? You have to ask your friends, okay? What I've done, did you know it earlier or am I offering something new to you? If they say, no, we know this already, then you have to go beyond that. Is it offering an entry point into less explored areas? And does it put established ideas to the test and offer new ones? We always tend to say that social media has a negative impact on students. Can you put this to test? You may be surprised to find out that perhaps it does not necessarily have a negative impact. You take an idea and put it to test. And this is the pleasure of research. It's a flash of discovery. You see something you had not seen earlier. And it leads to a paradigm shift or a change in your thinking or understanding. It brings about a way and you realize that I have changed in the way that I was thinking about something earlier. And this is where the pleasure of doing research comes. The few minutes that I have left, I will just summarize very briefly. Think of it as nourishment and exercise for the mind. Pick up scientific thinking, become an independent thinker, and you get involved in the process of self-learning, which is very, very important. You're not dependent on others to feed you information. And you have a lifetime commitment to learning. It becomes part of your personality. It becomes part of your intellect. You're constantly wanting to find out things, and very important, you're able to ask questions. And this ability to ask questions is going to take you far ahead in any profession that you wish to do. In addition to that, there are a number of soft skills. It's not just the intellect. For those of you who've done projects, your communication skills. Now students are going to present their projects here. So you hone your communication skills, your interpersonal skills. When you work as a group, you've been working with each other, teamwork. One person in the group has taken the initiative, leadership skills. That's why group projects are extremely important because it brings these two skills together. And of course, time management. Can you complete the project in time? Are you able to do what you set out to do? And patience, extreme patience. I'm sure the teachers here would agree with me when you're doing your PhD, it is patience that you start to develop. Patience with yourself, patience with the world, okay? And your self-esteem. And this is why I say students need to do it. You start believing in yourself. Yes, I can think. People tell me that I can't. Some of the best researchers I have had in my class are students whom teachers and parents have said, look, you're good for nothing. You don't get an A grade. You don't get an O grade. You're not a good student. But they have surprised me because they managed to do better projects than others. Because somehow nobody has really brought out that analytical aspect of them and self-esteem. You start feeling good that yes, I am an independent thinker. I have an opinion. When someone asks you about the vaccinations, when someone asks you about the trials that are going out there, you don't know what to say because you've not really picked up this ability to start picking up knowledge for yourself. Credibility. Credibility means what you speak is based on fact. What you speak is based on verified information. And when you're doing research, you're taught that. You don't take information of Wikipedia. You don't take information of any source on the internet. You don't take information of WhatsApp. You take information of what is reliable. Okay? And this allows you to address fake news. This allows you to challenge things that you're told. This allows credibility. People start listening to you. People start saying, okay, this is a person who knows what she's talking about. I have met many people with PhDs in well-established academic positions, but they don't have credibility. Because they really do not, what they say is not based on facts that they have assimilated themselves. It is based on a whole lot of information that they're getting from all over the world. And finally, in the last 1 minute, the researcher has a spirit of inquiry, enthusiasm, energy, lot of energy you require that. It can be tiring. Ethics, very important. Research teaches you ethics. You don't copy, you don't steal other people's ideas, you give them credit. You don't lift what other people have done and show it as your own, okay? You learn to be extremely ethical in your thought and writing processes. And I'll end by saying it teaches you a sense of humility. What do I mean by humility? You think you know everything in the world, but you don't. You think that you've achieved there where I'm far better than others because I have done this project. Okay? I have my MSc, I have my PhD, I have a postdoctoral. Okay? I'm intellectually superior than others. But whenever I go into a library, I feel a sense of humility. Because there are millions and millions of books, there is so much of information, and it gives you that sense of humility that you may know, but there is still so much more to know. And on that short message, I convey my greetings to everyone. I convey my thanks to the organizing committee. And I would like to tell the students that if you persevere, whatever you're doing today will certainly produce results tomorrow, wherever you go, whatever job you take up. These skills are definitely going to equip you for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marla ma'am, for enlightening us with your keynote And you have explained very simple, in a very simple way, the steps of research to the budding researchers. You have talked about the questions we can ask ourselves before conducting any research, before deciding any research project. And you have explained how the good researcher should be. Thank you so much, ma'am. And I'm sure that this will motivate the young students to conduct more researches. Thanks, ma'am, for giving us your time. Thank you, ma'am. Now, taking the program ahead, I invite Ms. Nidhi Dattani for introduction of the judges for today's competition, Dr. Vishnu Dasgupta ma'am and Dr. Arthur Varma madam. Over to you, Nidhi.
Thank you, Ritu. Good morning, everyone. It is indeed an honor to be granted this opportunity of introducing the jury panel for today's Urjita undergraduate research competition, intercollegiate research competition. Our first jury member for today is our very own Dr. Vishnu Dasgupta. Dr. Dasgupta has been a faculty at the undergraduate and postgraduate level of SNDT Women's University. She started her career at our very own Dr. Nanavati BM College of Home Science right from its inception in 1987. Moving on to SVT College of Home Science for a year, and then to the Department of Postgraduate Studies and Research in Home Science from 1996 up until 2014 when she retired. In a career spanning 27 years, she has presented many papers at the national and international level, including Cambridge University, Barcelona, Malaysia, etc. She's also published papers in national and international journals. She was the associate editor for the International Journal of Interdisciplinary Social Sciences, editor for International Journal of Interdisciplinary Social Sciences. She's also guided almost 40 MSc students and is also a PhD guide. I indeed have been fortunate enough to have had her as not only my MSc guide, but also a guide for my ongoing PhD. She has been a member of Board of Studies for Resource Management, SNDT Women's University, member of the Local Inquiry Committee and tutor for Commonwealth Youth Program. She is a member of many bodies, including the Home Science Association of India, a member of the Indian Society of Ergonomics, and a member of the Indian Institute of Training and Development. Besides teaching, she's a sports enthusiast. Arranging flowers is her passion, and she has taught and demonstrated flower arrangements in many colleges as an expert on many occasions. Teaching art and craft is also her hobby. On her last visit to our college, she was delighted to find some of her students' work taught early in her career still on display. In a long career of almost 3 decades, Dr. Dasgupta has set an example of words inspire, but action creates change. Quote unquote, Dr. Dasgupta, she says, "Don't just dream to win, dare to remain a winner." Welcome, ma'am. Our second jury member for today is again our very own Dr. Arthur Varma. Dr. Arthur Varma is an assistant professor in the Department of Commerce at Srimati P.N. Doshi Women's College. She has completed her PhD in Commerce on the title Pre- and Post-Recession Analysis of Performance with special reference to gold loan companies in Thane region from Rashtrasant Tukkadoji Maharaj, Nagpur University. A passionate researcher, Dr. Varma has participated in many international and national seminars and has many research paper publications to her credit. She's also a research guide for MCOM students of our college. She's also been the coordinator for International Economic Convention since the last 3 years, and under her mentorship, the International Economic Convention team received the second runner-up position in the category of Best Paper. She has been invited as visiting faculty to many colleges and has been also an expert for research methodology courses and commerce-related sessions in and across Maharashtra. She has contributed in chapters and course material developed for distance education courses for SNDT Women's University, and her academic contributions remain endless. Welcome, Arthur, ma'am. It is indeed a pleasure to have such an esteemed jury with us today for Urjita Undergraduate Intercollegiate Research Competition, and we are immensely grateful for their presence among us today. Over to you, Ritu, for further proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you, Nidhi. Now we have come to the paper presentation session, and I'm sure that all the team who are participating, they must be excited for this part. So now I would like to invite Ms. Lopa Devrukar and Mr. Sanil Bavle to take over from here. Over to you, Lopa and Sanil.
Thank you, Dr. Ritu. Most awaited moment for the day. But before we begin, I would like to all the team members to keep certain points in mind. First, please ensure that you switch on your videos when interacting with judges after your video has been played. The question and answer session with the judges will be immediately after your video presentation. At other times, please keep your videos off and mute yourself. The winners will be announced during the valedictory session at the end of the program. Judges' decision will be the final decision. With this, I would like to start with the paper presentation. All the very best to all the team members. I would like to call code number 1 to begin with the paper presentation. Sanil sir. Sanil sir, I guess the video is not audible. I think.
ऑडियो नहीं प्ले हो रहा है.
अभी नहीं सुनाई दे रहा एक्चुअली.
Joined in with an audio. No, open. What is happening? क्या हुआ? What is it? It's there. It's already at the background. Let me check. Greetings to everyone. नहीं आ रहा.
Your screen sharing.
Audio.
Speaker.
Audio. Full volume. Full volume करें यहाँ पे. एक बार यहाँ से भी अनम्यूट करके देखो मेरे हिसाब से. Try करो. I share screen.
Display.
Sure. Greetings to everyone. Hi, Sachin.
Ma'am, go. Ma'am. Hello.
Yes.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear the voice of the video?
No, you have not started yet, no? Because the
Started screen
is
sharing.
blank.
Multiple participants कर. All participants. Multiple participants. Share screen.
Ma'am, now you can hear. Ma'am, you can hear now.
Play pause किया है?
No. Not yet audible.
No. No.
Excuse me, can everyone hear the audio?
No,
Is there
ma'am.
audio?
No, ma'am, they can't hear it.
No, we can't hear the audio, Madhura.
We are just playing Mala ma'am.
There is some technical glitch. We'll begin shortly.
कौन सा है? चेक यहाँ पे चेक। ये चेक
Amrita, can we move ahead to the next presentation, please, and come back to this later instead of wasting time?
Ma'am, the problem is in the playing of the audio. We are addressing the problem and we'll start soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Share. स्टॉप करो, अभी इसको मिनिमाइज करो और रिप्ले करो, शेयर करो स्क्रीन।
Mother is one of the hardest yet fulfilling jobs. A working mom has tough tasks to fulfill. As a
Greetings to everyone. Paper challenges of working mother, balance dual responsibility.
Yes, now I guess it is audible. Dr. Arthur Varma, kindly mute.
Greetings to everyone. I, Satsuti Singh, with my team members Sima Subhan and Lydia Samuel, are going to present our paper, Challenges of Working Mother, Balancing Dual Responsibilities at Home and Workplace.
Introduction. Mothers are the most secure shelter for the children. Being a working
Greetings to everyone. I, Satsuti Singh, with my team members Sima Subhan and Lydia Samuel, are going to present our paper, Challenges of Working Mother, Balancing Dual Responsibilities at Home and Workplace.
Introduction. Mothers are the most secure shelter for the children. Being a working mother is one of the hardest yet fulfilling jobs. A working mom has tough tasks to fulfill. As defined by J. Podewell in 2009, that working mother is a woman who manage work responsibilities of raising a child together. Today, women are independent, educated more than before. They stand with men and share responsibilities together. Responsibility of motherhood and simultaneously walking the path of career can be difficult due to the stereotypical duties assigned to a woman.
Review of literature. Managing the children, taking care of the family, and juggling the responsibilities of the home along with career Work commitments and deadlines put a lot of pressure on the working mothers. One of the issues for working mothers is the idea that they must be available around the clock, both at home and office. And while most are up for the challenge, they will only be successful if employers and managers who shape office policy and work culture support them in all aspects of their life. If working mothers have proper support from their family and co-workers, they will be able to have a smooth transition from working women to a working mother. Working moms are role models for not only the other women, but also for their children and younger generation. The objective of our study were to identify challenges of working mothers face in their career and family life and know how they tackle them, to know if the family of working mothers support their career, to know if the work and family life affect the mental health of working mothers.
Methodology. The study was pure qualitative in nature. Participants were interviewed personally and through telephonic conversation. A questionnaire was having 14 open-ended questions. Sample size was 100 participants with the age group of 25 to 45 years. Our participants were married working mothers having fixed-hour job and living in a nuclear or joint family. Duration was 40 to 50 minutes for an interview. Here are the demographic details. You can have a look at the slide. The age, city, occupation. They have number of family members and number of years of their work. Now let's have a look at the results. The first question was their experience being a working mother. So more than 1/4 of working mother feels it's challenging and exhausting. Few feels being a working mother is tiring job because they have a lot of pressure. Some say they feel great about being a working mother because they've embraced the good part about being a working mother. Some say they feel good about being a working mother. The next question was, do they get time to spend with the child or family after coming from job? So 46 participants said they get maximum time to spend with their family. Most of them who said this were teachers and bankers because they have specific hours in the evening where they can spend time. 45 participants said they are not able to be proper time because they have both things to do, their job and their home chores. 9 participants said they get very little time to spend with their family. Next question will do their family help with household chores. So around 48 participants said they get help from their family in their household chores. Mostly it was from their mother-in-laws and their husband from joint family, and for nuclear family, the husband mostly helped with the chores. 16 participants said they do not get any help from their family. Some said because they are only husband and wife staying with their children, so they cannot help them with their work. And some from joint family said that they have a typical old traditional family where only woman or daughter-in-law works and not the other member of the family. Next question was what arrangements they have made for the child in their absence. So around 18 participants said that they leave the child with their grandparents, and for 20 participants said that they leave the child with daycare or babysitting. Next question was the household responsibilities. How does they affect the productivity at workplace? So 46 participants said that it does affect the productivity because if they have some family issue going on, they are not able to give proper focus to their work. 37 participants said that it does not affect because they keep their private and professional life separate. Some said that it may affect sometimes because they think it's their own responsibility to manage everything. Next question was the challenges they have in work-life balance and strategies to tackle those challenges. So the challenges were not able to give proper time to children, challenges to keep them mentally and physically fit, handling medical issues, boundary between working and non-working hours, traveling in long distance, managing time between family and work. The strategies which they shared were scheduling work timing, taking help when required, prioritizing their important things, or taking help from family members and husbands in managing responsibilities. Next question was, does their work ever affects their involvement at home? So several participants said that it does affect because if they have some deadlines at their work, they are not able to be involved at home. And 53% said that 53 participants said that it does not affect because they keep both their lives separate and they give proper time to their family.
Next question was issues during this pandemic faced by the working mothers while managing work and family. Maximum number of working mothers have faced issues. They faced issues like managing time, health, and household chores, and managing their work online. Especially teachers had to face a lot of issues regarding the preparation for the lecture. Some had really good experience during the pandemic as they got opportunities to spend more time with their family and with themselves. Next question was, do they feel stressed due to your responsibilities in family and office? Most of the working mothers said during the examination of the child or issues in the family or a lot of workload, they do feel stressed. Few working mothers feel they are stressed and they don't think that the pressure should affect their health as it may cause more issues for them in managing both the responsibilities. And some other feel they don't have too much stress as they are able to manage everything. Our next question was, are they socially active with their friends? So most of the participants were socially active with their friends. They feel that spending more time with their friends, even though it is through online chatting, calls, or meetings, it is important as it helps them to divert their mind from work and family. Some of the working mothers are not socially active, and the main reason behind this is their work and family schedule. Our next question was, do you take time for yourself in your busy schedule? More than half of working mothers take time for themselves from their busy schedule. Activities they mentioned were exercise, yoga, listening to music, reading, and enhancing their hobbies. Some said that they are not able to take time for themselves due to their busy schedule. Our next question was, have they ever faced any stereotype or taunt about being a working mother? 1/4 of working mothers still have to listen to taunt or wrong remarks about being a working mother. Mostly it was from their neighborhood or their relatives or some of their family members. Most of the working mothers did not face any taunt or remark because they have good family support and they have earned respect in their society. Some of the stereotypical taunts shared by the participants are given in this slide. Please have a look. Our next question was, have you ever had any thought about quitting your job because of overburden of family responsibilities? Most of the working mothers never had a thought about quitting their job. They feel they have a lot of struggles and have overcome a lot of hurdles and miss various important events of their life to be in that position, so they can never think of leaving their job. Some also said there is financial stability and financial support wherever required.
Conclusion. To conclude, managing dual responsibility of home and work is a challenging job, but over the years of situation of working mothers has changed. Now most of them have supportive family which are helping them to become successful and independent women to show their maximum potential in their field.
Limitation and recommendations. The limitation for our study was we were not able to know the challenges or difficulties or some of the experiences of working mothers who do not work in a fixed hour. So this can be an opportunity for the future researchers to research on this topic, as it will be an addition. The references are here on the slide. You can have a look. Lastly, we would like to thank Urjita team for giving us this opportunity to present our paper here. Also, we would like to thank our mentor and our HOD for their constant support throughout this time, and also everyone here for listening our presentation patiently. Thank you so much. Greetings to everyone.
Thank you, students. Judges, you can ask questions if you have any.
Can you hear me? Hello, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I have one question here. In fact, I have 2-3 questions. The first question is, can you compare the working mother living in a nuclear family and a joint family? Yes, their backgrounds are very different. So a comparative statement would have been better. You know, you cannot take nuclear and joint. That is what I feel. I don't know about the other judge. Secondly, when there was no graphic presentation in your research. You see, 100 participants, percentage and graphic would have been very easy, even if you are taught all that in research methodology. I think so. These are 2 of my questions. You can, of course, defend yourself. You can defend these 2. And
Good afternoon.
yes.
Our research methodology was not graphic, it's not qualitative, it's quantitative. That's why it has the numbers and not the graphs.
Okay. That is your defense. It is fine. I will not talk anymore after that. But okay. And what about taking nuclear and joint families? How come you have taken both types and not compared? 2 different types of working mother families background. You could have made some comparative statement. I'm not trying to intimidate you.
Yes, girls, am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay. Well done, girls. Basically, your presentation was totally based on qualitative data. You have not focused much on quantitative part. So as ma'am said, graph and other part is missing, but it was excellent. Your questions were well apt matching with your title, I can say, and your objective. I just wanted to ask, can you address some issues that were faced by the females or mother during this pandemic period? Highlight on few issues that you came across while your interviews.
Ma'am, majorly during this pandemic time, working mothers has some major issues for teachers specifically was that they have to prepare for their lectures and they were not very used to for the all the tech part to manage or take online classes, the mute, unmute and everything. So most of the teachers had that problem that they are not able to do this. So they needed a lot of time to understand the process, how to take online lectures. Other than that, if they have work from home, so at that time the children are also with them, like those children were small. So they said that they are not able to properly focus on the child's education as well as their work at the same time, because the school hours and the office hours are almost same. So that was some major issues that during this pandemic time participation.
Okay, so I can say there was a juggling between the obligations and family expectations. Okay, well said. Great, all the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, students. Let's move on to the next presentation. Board number 2.
Good morning, everyone here, judges, principals, and my dear friends. We are conducting a research on challenges faced by family members in elderly care during COVID-19 pandemic. Introduction. Family caregiving play a key role in caring for the older people. About 80% of help in home, physical, emotional, social, and economic is provided by family caregivers. The amount and the type of care provided by the family members depending on the economic sources, family structure, quality, and the relationships and their other demands on the family members' time and energy. On average, family members caregiving for the older people spend about 4 hours in day for caregiving activities. Family caregiver may have the experience considerable stress and the health problems, isolation, fatigue, and frustration, sometimes leading to sense of helplessness and the caregiver burnout or mistreatment of the older people. COVID-19 and elderly care. COVID-19 has brought significant changes in the routine activities to survive on the daily basis sometimes. Objective to study. To study the issues and the challenges faced by the family members in elderly care during COVID-19 pandemic, to provide guidelines to the families to elderly care during COVID-19 pandemic.
Review of literature. Many researches have been conducted on elderly care, but few we have caught on the elderly care during pandemic. Research name Abel T. and McQueen D. year 2020. Challenges faced by the elders and their family members during COVID-19 pandemic because of lockdown and the coronavirus disease. Studies showed that how family members and the elders facing lots of problems such as stress, frustration, financial problem, illness, and no social interaction during the lockdown period. Older person and those with underlying medical conditions are at higher risk of serious illness and health problem and death from COVID-19. Methodology. The survey method was used for the study. Sample population, families having elderly members at home. Results and discussions, number of older person present in a family members, 0 to 1, 61%. Age of elderly people at home, 67.7%. The families face challenges to keep elderly people in good health during COVID-19. The majority answer were yes. Were doctors available at hospital for elder people during COVID pandemic? The majority answer were yes. The elderly people become prone to psychological barrier due to pandemic. The answer were frustration, that is 48.5%. What is important to help the elderly during COVID-19? The more responses were support from families. You find service costly for elderly care? The answers were yes. Did doctors check elderly people without any hesitation during COVID-19 pandemic? The answers were yes. What difficulties caretaker faced while commuting to hospitals or clinic? The answers were limited travels. How caretakers sustain their health and well-being? The answers was physical activities. Which problem faced by the family members for giving the care of elders during COVID-19? The answer were 50%, that is all of the above, and the options were physical stress, emotional stress, financial stress. Elderly activities reduced, restricted due to COVID-19. The more responses were all of the above, and the options were not meeting friends, not going to physical health checkup, not going for exercise walks or yoga. Since physical activities of old elders got reduced, it affected their health. The answers were yes. Important surgeries are pending because of COVID-19 pandemic. The more people are agree. Do you face difficulty in getting a bed at hospital during COVID-19 pandemic? The answers were yes. Do you face delay in start of treatment during emergencies? The answers were agree. Are you aware about elderly care facilities or services available in your locality? The majority answer were yes. What are the significant risks of COVID-19 in older people? The answer were all of the above. Do caretaker take out frustrations of older people during pandemic? The answers were by ignoring them. People face difficulties in getting important medicine for elders during COVID-19. The answer were yes. Conclusion: on the basis of the result of the study, we conclude that families face a lot of challenges in elderly care during pandemic. The families survived the pandemic as they stayed and fought together the crisis. In Indian context, we can safely say that since our society is based on the family-oriented values, we can face any family crisis with the value of love, caring, sharing, and help. Future study can be conducted with larger widespread sample to get better perspective in elderly care during COVID situation. References? Thank you.
Okay. You can hear me? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. This is very well
Yes, ma'am.
presented in the graphics were proper and presentation was clear. Only one thing you have not addressed is most of the time families, they require outside help for caregiving to elderly. Sometimes they cannot manage themselves. That situation, in a pandemic situation, the problem becomes extensive because the help comes from outside and the infection probability is much more. So that is one question you could have addressed and said, did you have earlier help and then you stopped and the difficulty became more? Your conclusion was right that it was a very difficult situation with no socializing and all that. What about the external helps who used to come? They lost their jobs also, or were they invited to stay and give help? That was one question I think that was missing. Otherwise, it's a very good study, very, very timely, I should say, in the situation. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay.
Dr. Aarti?
Yes.
Any question, ma'am?
Yeah, excellent presentation, dear students. Well presented.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
And just I wanted to ask some issues that elderly people face related to well-being and mental health. Have you come across certain issues related to well-being and mental health that elderly has faced?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you name some?
Yes, ma'am.
You have mentioned in your questionnaire. You have mentioned somewhere in your questions.
Yes, ma'am. Stress,
Depression,
depression,
frustration,
yes,
loneliness. So these were some issues that related to well-being, mental health disorder, depression, anxiety. This was the issues that were faced by the elderly people, and family tried to manage and handle them with due care.
yes, ma'am.
All the best, dear students.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, judges and students. Moving on to the next presentation, I would like to call code number 3.
Thank you, ma'am.
Code number 3.
Hello everyone, myself Hetal Gami and Adina Rakhange will be presenting a research paper on chrononutrition diabetes in changing world. So, diabetes mellitus is a metabolic disorder characterized by chronic hyperglycemia due to insufficient secretion of insulin to maintain blood glucose levels. It's a growing health problem that has increased 4 times in the past 3 decades, and globally it is estimated to reach around 642 million people by 2040. India and China are the 2 leading countries with increasing cases. India has 77 million people with diabetes, out of which more than 50% remain undiagnosed. This will continue to rise up to 100 million people by 2030. Uncontrolled diabetes is a serious issue which leads to complications like kidney failure, heart attacks, blindness, and limb amputation. Studies shows that all organisms exhibit rhythms in their functioning. Circadian rhythms are physiological, mental, and behavioral patterns that follow a 24-hour cycle. Maintaining these rhythms enhances body functions, while disruption may cause imbalances. These rhythms are regulated by endogenous oscillators and known as circadian clocks. These clocks prepare the body for activities that it goes throughout the day in terms of factors like body temperature, hormonal secretions, metabolism, and sleep. Glucose metabolism in humans follow a cycle, circadian rhythm, that typically peaks during the day and reduces during the dawn when fasting usually occurs. And so, chrononutrition is an emerging field building on the relationship between eating patterns, circadian rhythm, and metabolic health. To reach around 642 million people by 2040. India and China are the 2 leading countries with increasing cases. India has 77 million people with diabetes, out of which more than 50% remain undiagnosed.
Hello?
This will continue to rise
Yeah,
up to 100.
No, nothing, sir.
Finished your introduction, you go on to the objective.
Uncontrolled diabetes is a serious on the relationship between risk factor for developing conditions like diabetes. Considering all this, we wanted to see if meal patterns had an effect on glucose levels of diabetic patients. So, the objective of this paper was to evaluate correlation between the irregular patterns of meal consumption, glucose control, and the role of circadian rhythm. Hence, we conducted a pilot study. A pre-tested questionnaire was formulated and data was collected for socio-demographic variables like age, sex, height, and weight, meal patterns, sleep patterns, and diabetic control, followed by analysis and conclusion.
We received responses from 60 diabetic patients, out of which more than 50% were between the age group of 40 to 60 years, whereas the remaining were above 60 years of age. 52% of the subjects were males, whereas 48% were females. Height and weight of the subjects were used to calculate their BMI. Normal BMI ranges from 18 to 24.9 kilogram per meter square. Results showed that 70% of the subjects had their BMI above normal range, which means they were either overweight or obese. Subjects were asked about their meal timings to analyze their dinner and breakfast patterns.
The results showed that 3/4 of the subjects were late eaters, means they were having the last meal of the day at 8 or up till 12 in the midnight. Although 80% of the subjects were consuming breakfast regularly, 20% skipped breakfast at least 3 times in a week. It was interesting to note that 80% of those who skipped breakfast were more susceptible to have late dinners in the day. Subjects were also asked about their fasting and postprandial glucose levels. Fasting levels below 100 mg per deciliter and postprandial levels below 140 mg per deciliter were considered normal. However, large portion of the subjects showed uncontrolled levels of both fasting and postprandial glucose levels. Insulin secretion follows a circadian rhythm, and meal patterns have an impact on them. As stated, glucose tolerance and insulin sensitivity declines towards the end of the day. It was observed that those who had their dinners early, at or before 8 p.m., had good control over their fasting and postprandial glucose levels. However, as the dinner time proceeded towards midnight, the glucose control also deteriorated. Not only this, but late night eating also affected their fasting and postprandial glucose levels. HbA1c levels were also collected as a part of the data. It was interesting to know that those who consumed their last meal of the day early had better HbA1c levels than those who consumed it late in the evening. Early dinners help to improve glycemic control. Thus, there is a correlation between meal patterns, glucose tolerance, and circadian rhythm has a role to play in it. The limitation of our study is that it is just a pilot study. Hence, studies with larger population considering other variables like carbohydrate content of the meals, income, and medications should be taken up. To conclude, disruption of the circadian clock causes severe disturbance in the rhythm of the body, leading to hormonal dysfunctions and metabolic diseases such as diabetes and obesity. Chrononutrition is a new field showing links between the rhythms of the body and nutrition. Still, there is much to be discovered. Timing of the meals has a significant impact on glucose metabolism. Nutrition affects health not only through quantity or quality of food, but also through the timings of intake according to the circadian rhythm. It is now time for the dietary guidelines to acknowledge that in addition to quality and quantity of food consumed, timings of the meal is a critical determinant of metabolic health. Improving patient education and creating awareness about the importance of timings of eating meals and its metabolic implications should be a part of the professional help in the fight against the current epidemic of diabetes. We hereby conclude our presentation. Thank you so much for patient listening. We would like to thank our college and our mentor for giving us this opportunity and guiding us throughout. Thank you.
Okay, students, it was a very good presentation, a very apt topic. Only one thing I will ask you, can you say which are the, of course, yours is chronological, this thing, timings are very important. So what advice would you give the diabetics besides timing? Okay, your circadian rhythm goes awry if you don't take proper time meals at proper times. Other than that, can diabetes do something more for their diabetic effects?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for the question. Apart from timings of the meal, chrononutrition also says that composition of the meal will also composition of the meal, like different macronutrients that we consume during the day, also follows certain rhythms. So if we give them the meals according to those rhythms, then their glycemic control can be improved. For example, carbohydrates should be given during the day. Proteins can be given in their dinner times. That way, ma'am.
What advice would you give them?
Sorry, ma'am.
What advice would you give them Other than timings and food, is there anything else they can do about their diabetes?
Yes, ma'am. Maintaining these rhythms, if their rhythms are disrupted, these rhythms can be again aligned. So they need to have good sleeping patterns. Their meal timing should be regular. So if they're consuming their lunch at 1, so it is recommended that they consume at the same time of the day. Also, yes, ma'am. And also, if they include exercise, it will help them to entrain the rhythms. And these rhythms actually will be entrained. Light is one of the biggest factor to set these rhythms. So if they expose themselves to sunlight in the morning, their rhythms will be automatically entrained, and it will help in better glucose control, ma'am.
Sunset and sunrise. So what about the timings of their sleep? Can they have some rhythm of sleeping? Should they have?
Yes, ma'am. Just like insulin has a circadian rhythm, melatonin, which is the sleep hormone, also follows a circadian rhythm. So if they sleep when the melatonin is released in the body, it will help to align themselves with the rhythm, ma'am.
And diabetic patients, especially diabetic patients?
No, ma'am, it will help to entrain the rhythms for everyone. But since the pandemic situation has led to irregular sleeping and eating patterns, this would be really helpful to them.
Okay, done. Good work.
Thank you, ma'am.
Aarti ma'am?
Yes. Just I need to say that there is no simple solution for addressing diabetes, but coordinated and multi-component intervention can make a significant difference. You all well said this particular obesity, overweight, environmental change do impact person who has diabetic issues. So collectively, we can make a significant contribution. That is, you can say the society, the manufacturer, the supplier of medicines, these all people can come together and make a significant contribution to halt the rise of diabetes and improve the life of person who are living with the diabetes. Very good.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Let's move on to the next presentation. Code number 4.
Today, everyone present here, the topic that we have undertaken for our research study is association between dietary diversity score, food variety score, and nutritional status of adolescents. Introduction. The double burden of malnutrition owing to the nutritional transition remains one of the largest problems in both developed and developing countries, including India. Adolescents are particularly vulnerable to nutritional deficiencies and imbalance owing to high nutrient requirements and inappropriate food choice. An important factor influencing this occurrence is dietary diversity and food variety. Dietary diversity is associated with household or individual food availability, accessibility, and consumption of food belonging to diverse food groups. Food variety refers to consumption of a large variety of food within designated food groups. Aim to study the association between dietary diversity score, food variety score, and nutritional status of adolescents. Objectives are to determine the dietary diversity, food variety among adolescents aged between 10 to 18 months, to assess the nutritional status of the subject by recording their weight, circumference, and BMI. To determine the correlation between dietary diversity score and food variety score and nutritional status of adolescents. Methodology. The total sample size was 273 adolescents, girls and boys, aged 12 to 18 years, residing across Mumbai, suburb and Thane districts, were selected as subjects for this study using purported convenience sampling. Process of data collection, which includes 3 steps. Step 1, explanation of the concept and formal concern of the subject. A detailed explanation of the objectives of the study was given to the subject and informed concerns were obtained from them prior to the data collection. Questionnaire. limits and waist circumference was measured to determine the nutritional status of the subject, and its association with dietary diversity and food variety was studied.
Statistical analysis. The data collected was coded and entered in Microsoft Excel 2019 spreadsheet, and the data was analyzed with the help of statistical package IBM SPSS statistics. The data analysis included frequency, mean, and standard deviation for the general questionnaire, dietary intake obtained from dietary diversity and food variety questionnaire. Following correlation were done using Carl Pearson's correlation coefficient to determine the relationships between dietary diversity score and age, weight, BMI, waist circumference, socioeconomic status. Similarly, food variety score and age, weight, BMI, waist circumference, socioeconomic status, and BMI and cereal consumption. Since the dietary diversity of the sample was excellent, it could not establish any significant correlation for the above mentioned parameters. Now we proceed to results and discussion. Figure 1 indicates the age distribution of the sample. We have subjects from all the ages within the selected age group, and most of them belong to 15 to 17 years. Table beside it indicates the mean of all the parameters tested. The mean age of the sample is 15.6. Figure 2 indicates socioeconomic status of the majority of the population. And majority of the population belong to upper middle socioeconomic followed by lower middle socioeconomic class as per Kukuswamy Socioeconomic Classification 2021. Figure 3 indicates the BMI Z for distribution of the sample. The majority of the sample was well nourished, but double burden of malnutrition was seen as the similar amount of population was overnourished and undernourished. According to figure 4, the dietary diversity score of study population was excellent as the study population consumed some foods from each food group except for vegetarian, which excluded eggs and flesh food from their diet. But when the variety of the foods consumed within the food group was studied, it was found that the food variety was limited. Most commonly, polished cereals, washed pulses, and a very few varieties of green leafy vegetables like spinach and fenugreek were consumed. The sugar consumption from varied sources were high. Overall, this figure tells that the food consumed within the food groups were limited. The following table indicates correlation between food variety and socio-demographic parameters. When age was correlated with food variety, it indicated negative correlation, which means as the age increases, the food variety decreases. When socioeconomic status was correlated with food variety, it could not establish significant correlation. When food variety correlated with anthropometric parameters like weight, BMI, and waist circumference, it indicated a highly significant negative correlation with all the three parameters. That means it indicates that as the food variety decreases, weight, BMI, and waist circumference increases due to increase in indicating overweight or obesity. And when variety of cereal consumption was correlated with BMI, it indicated that lesser the variety of cereals consumed, the greater is the BMI. That means when more amount of polished cereal is consumed over millets and whole grain cereal. Conclusion. A statistically significant negative correlation was observed between the age of the sample and food variety in the present study sample. No statistically significant association was observed between food variety score and socioeconomic status of the present study population. Anthropometric parameters such as height, weight, waist circumference, and BMI had a significant negative correlation with food variety score of the subjects. This indicates that low food variety is associated with greater BMI and waist circumference. A statistically significant negative correlation was observed between cereal consumption and BMI of the subjects. That is, as the variety in the cereal consumption of whole cereal reduces, the BMI increases, indicating overweight and obesity. Variety in food consumption across the food group as assessed using the food variety score is therefore an important indicator of dietary advocacy and may be one of the determining factors of a good nutritional status. References. These are the references of our study.
Okay. So in your study, Ms. Ba, you have found that you should have variety of foods to have a proper balance in your BMI and waist dimensions and things like that. Is variety of food important? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. My question is, after all this study and your conclusion, you said variety is important or not for teenagers, if I say teenagers, okay?
It is because the more variety of foods that are consumed, the lesser the chances they have to have micronutrient deficiencies.
Yes, and what do you think about this typical group which you have taken? They have more fast foods. You know what is fast food? Do you think that has an impact on their metabolism and their obesity levels?
Yes, ma'am. Like as it was mentioned, as the age increases, the food variety decreases.
Yes.
This could be because of them tilting more towards fast foods and processed foods. So, which is why that has an impact on their food variety and also the quality of food that they have.
Yes.
So this results in overweight and obesity and increase in BMI.
What are the food groups? Did you specify the food groups that are being taken separately? Which are the food groups? Yes.
Yes.
Which was the food?
We included 12 food groups in our questionnaire. We personally interviewed all of them. We had 12 different food groups, and we also mentioned the most commonly consumed food varieties. So our research found that there was excellent dietary diversity. Like they consumed foods from every food group, but the variety within those was not good. It was more towards processed and very common things.
Okay. Aarti, I think you can take over. That's fine.
Thank you, judges. Aarti ma'am, you would like to ask any question?
Yes, team. Presentation was very good. Just wanted to ask some of the nutritional food you would suggest. Can you list some of the nutritional foods or diet that one should consume?
Can you please repeat the question?
Nutritional food or that one should consist in a diet, as you suggest.
One should include all the food varieties. So they should eat according to seasons. So therein food variety would be increased, and that would be really nutritious. It would be helpful for them. They shouldn't stick to a particular diet or any particular food variety. They should go through the seasons. They should eat seasonal fruits, seasonal vegetables.
In essence, they should eat more fruits and less vegetables. Is it?
No. It isn't like that. It isn't like that. They should eat all the food groups and all the food varieties. They should try to eat varieties and not just any specific food group like fruits or vegetables or maybe cereals or pulses. They should not focus on any particular food group.
We can say fruits and vegetables are often complementary.
All of you are on this thing. How will you answer the question?
No? Sorry, ma'am. All of us?
Shubha ma'am.
Sorry.
Loka ma'am, you can go ahead with next.
Okay, thank you students and thank you judges. Let's move on to the next presentation. I would like to call code number 5.
I, Yashvi Chheda, and my friends Vritti Jain and Ayushi Mandhana would like to present on gut-friendly pizza-based formulation, which is an alternative to refined flour pizza base in 6th semester. An innovative food product was to be designed, and this paper talks about how we went about doing the project. As Robert Urich said, a healthy outside starts from a healthy inside. As we know, the pizza base available in market to the consumers today have refined flour, and those that claim to be healthy alternatives also have quite a good percentage of refined flour. A product is made of whole grains and various additions which make it a nutritious option, which can be taken for breakfast and as a snack option. The product has a very high percentage of fiber, protein, it is rich in omega fatty acids, has chromium and phytoestrogens which have many health benefits for person consuming it.
Now let's talk about the objectives of this project. The objectives of this project were to standardize a food product and to modify it to a healthy alternative. So we developed a healthy alternative to refined flour pizza base. Next was to assess the shelf life of the product, to select the suitable packaging material, to develop a nutritional label, and lastly, to learn all the entrepreneurship skills. We couldn't cover all the entrepreneurship skills because it also requires to learn about going and asking for funds, loans, registrations needed, etc.
The standardization of the recipe. The first step in the recipe included the standardization of the product, and the drawback with the first trial was high moisture. The second trial had high salt issues. Third trial was made without oil, which did not have a good consumer acceptability. The fourth and the final trial was made keeping all of these factors in mind and tested for consumer acceptability on 30 consumers, which received a very positive feedback. This helped us to go forward with the project. As you can see on the slide, here are the ingredients mentioned for the recipe and here are the percentages. The method of preparation. The ingredients were measured using a standardized measuring cups, spoons and scales, and then the flour was needed to make a soft dough. The dough was then divided into 3 equal parts and flatbreads were made. These flatbreads were then dry roasted on a pan. For the sensory evaluation of the recipe, it was done on 12 naive panelists. A 5-point hedonic scale was used, 1 being bad and 5 being excellent, where the parameters tested were appearance, aroma, taste, texture, and acceptability.
Nutritional facts. We are claiming the recipe to be high in fiber by checking out the FSSAI guidelines, which says a recipe is high in fiber if its fiber content is more than 8 grams. Our recipe has 12.7 grams per packet of 3 bases. It is also rich in omega fatty acids, contains phytoestrogens, and is high in fiber. Nutrition label. Any product, when picked up by the consumer in market, requires a visual appeal as well as information regarding what they are buying. This is the nutrition label. The information given in backside contains nutrition information regarding the ingredients, manufacturing date, best before, amount of the product, and vegan logo, sugar-free logo, dairy-free logo. It also has the vegetarian logo, price.
Now let's talk about the packaging of the product. Packaging is a requirement for any food product to be kept on the shelf life, and we selected the polythene bag. This polythene bag, its size is 3 by 7 centimeters, its gauge is 350 millimeters. Although an environmental friendly packaging would be ideal, we went for polythene bag of this size and gauge only to cut down the cost. Shelf life. For shelf life study, this product was evaluated for sensory evaluation on the following days as mentioned on the graph. As you can see, it started showing some deterioration in the quality on the 6th day and microbial growth was seen. Hence, we conclude it can be safely consumed for 5 days, after which it showed microbial decomposition. Further studies are being taken up after freezing the product.
As you can see in the slide, the price of the product was decided after calculating the cost of the ingredients used and other expenses such as employment, room, rent, gas, electricity, travel expenses, nutrition label, and packaging, etc. Taking all of these facts into consideration, total price of the product have come to rupees 149. Profit margin was rupees 5 per packet and per bread, and hence one packet cost 55 rupees.
This innovative food product development taught us not only to innovate a healthy recipe, but also how to conduct shelf life study with various aspects such as nutrition labeling, budgeting, etc. For marketing aspect, we are going to have a food product stall on 10th March. We also used social media platforms to encourage the sales. Now, we would like to thank our college for giving us various opportunities, our mentor for guiding us throughout the research, and SNDT College of Ghatkopar for providing us this platform. Thank you.
All right. I think it is an excellent study, especially pizza being one of the most popular foods among the teenagers, not only teenagers, I should say even office-going people. The easiest thing is to order pizza and have it. And if you're going to make a nutritional pizza with fiber, then that's going to be a very good job. I think undergraduate level, this is one of the very good studies. Only one thing I said, yes, shelf life, you have studied shelf life. The other factor is polythene. See, when you do packaging, I am in that entrepreneurship field, you know. So when you do packaging, you have to be very careful that it is food grade, you know. Is this polythene food grade? That is my only question which I want to ask you. Other things you will learn by yourself. Do you think polythene is food grade? Did you question or did you find out about it?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes. Boliye.
I understand that polythene is not a good option to pack all the food items, but since this is a project on an undergraduate level, we have moved forward as students, and we did not wanted to exceed the cost of the product.
Yes.
We went with this packaging material, but yeah, to answer your question, yes, ma'am. The plastic is 350 microns, and it is thick enough that the food product won't react with the packaging material.
Yes, because you are doing it only for 5 days, probably you are in a safe zone, probably. I am not a polythene expert in that sense, but probably 5 days was good enough. The polythene would not have started reacting. Once it starts fermenting, then the reaction starts taking place. So yes, very good presentation, very good research study, and I hope you become entrepreneurs. My my PhD thesis is on women entrepreneurship, and I'm sure you will be successful because I found out that women were equally good as males where entrepreneurship was concerned. So all the best to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Excellent presentation, dear. So, ma'am has already asked about the food grade. That was what I was also having in my mind. And you answered it. So, very well presented.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, great. With this, we'll move ahead with the next presentation. I would like to call code number 6.
Greetings to everyone. Today we are here to present our paper on effect of sedentary lifestyle on health. Sitting is the new smoking. I am Dhruvi Jain and along with me are my co-presenters Dolly Jain and Amisha Bhayani. These are the contents of our presentation. According to WHO, sedentary behavior is defined as any waking such as sitting behavior or leaning with an energy expenditure of 1.5 metabolic equivalent task or less. Introduction. Now we all know due to COVID-19 there were lockdown imposed all over the nation, because of which there was work from home and study from home. This led to sedentary lifestyle in people. To add to this, there was artificial intelligence, job requiring long hours of sitting, lack of sports facilities, television viewing and phone usage has nothing but exasperated the situation. Thus, the aim of our study was to explore the impact of sedentary lifestyle on health in young adults. The objectives were to explore the effect of pandemic and forced sedentary lifestyle on general health, and to understand the importance of physical activity and its awareness. Review of literature. COVID-19 changed the way people live and work. According to studies, negative impacts of this were no work-life balance, lower mental well-being, and the positive impacts were increased leisure time. A study on 150 healthy participants showed that people started to feel lonely, depressed, and anxious. Physical inactivity is increasing the risk of cardiovascular diseases, hypertension, diabetes, cancer, and increased mortality. It also has a direct effect on metabolic dysfunctions like elevated plasma triglyceride levels, decreased HDL, and reduced insulin sensitivity, along with decrease in bone mineral density too. Review studies show that regular exercise can improve heart health and decrease blood sugar levels, improve insulin levels, improves mental health, mood, and judgmental skills. A meta-analysis on 1,932 subjects show that sleep is involved in healing and repairing the body. Oversleeping can lead to obesity, anxiety, and CVD. There was not a lot of research done on sedentary lifestyle affecting young population in India, but a survey on 2 lakh Indian population with mean age of 41 years was done to check physical activity levels. It was found that 57% of Indian population are inactive and thus at a risk of developing various non-communicable diseases. This is alarming us for the need to promote physical activity and to reduce the twin epidemics of diabetes and obesity in India. Further, methodology will be continued by my co-presenter Dolly Jain.
Now let's talk about methodology. Online survey method through Google Forms were used, and questions included demographic information and other questions related to physical activity, sleeping patterns, health issues, and overall lifestyle changes. Participants aged between 18 to 22 years studying and working from home were included in the study. Google Forms was circulated through convenient sampling and snowball sampling method and was spread through different social media platforms. The data was analyzed and expressed as an N percentage. So according there were 156 participants aged between 18 to 22 years, and females were 119. The first hour spent sitting, majority of the participants sat for more than 6 hours a day. Next was taking small breaks during work. So 54% of participants took break every 1 hour, whereas only 11% of the participants did not take break. Now, health issues due to sedentary lifestyle. 1/3 of the participants reported weight gain and low energy levels throughout the day. More than 0.5% of the participants suffered from back pain, and nearly 1/3 of the participants had bad posture. Out of 119 women, 24 of them had irregular menstrual cycle. Participants also experienced various other health issues. Activities performed during breaks. More than 2/3 of the participants walked around the house when they took breaks, and half of them went out for walking. 1/3 of the participants stretched during breaks. Now, when asked about exercise frequency, only 12% of the participants said that they were exercising regularly. As we all know, exercise delivers oxygen and nutrients to all parts of the body and helps your cardiovascular system more efficiently. Also, it boosts your endurance. Now, I would request my co-presenter Amisha Bhayani to come and explain the further slides.
Now, let us discuss about the behavioral changes due to sedentary lifestyle. Since everything was happening online, 82.7% of participants reported there was increase in the screen time. Increased snacking between the meals was observed in 40.4% of participants. This could be due to many participants were even skipping their meals. 26.9% of participants were overeating, and this could be the main reason behind the undue weight gain. Change in the health due to new normal. When we asked the participants whether their health was improved or deteriorated due to the sedentary lifestyle, we got that 44.9% of participants' lifestyle was worsened. Sleep patterns. We often ignore or overlook the sleep patterns and our sleep disorders. However, it is really important part of our health lifestyle, because without which we cannot function properly. From our survey, we got to know that majority of the participants slept for 7 to 9 hours a day. 1/3 slept for 5 to 6 hours a day. Now let us summarize our results and discussion section. More than 80% of participants spend almost 6 to 8 hours sitting. With the activities which they were performing during their small breaks were dancing, walking, moving, and even stretching a bit. Less than 15% of participants exercise regularly. There were many health issues which were arising due to the sedentary lifestyle, and some of them were back pain, weight gain, gastrointestinal issues, mental health issues, insomnia. Behavioral change. It was observed that there was increase in the screen time, skipping meals, etc. And almost all majority of the participants slept for 7 to 9 hours a day. Strength of our study. Since we used the Google form method, the reach was more. Hence, we observed there was increase in the response rate. Also, it was an inexpensive method and convenient in data gathering. Some of the limitations of our study. Since questions were self-answered, basically there was no interviewer, hence the accuracy cannot be determined. No proof of the pre-pandemic health status to compare our data. Conclusion. More than 50% of participants at this young age were experiences from the health issues, most commonly the back pain. Hence, this needs an immediate attention and further studies needs to be conducted. Some of the steps by which we can be physically active is by doing your household work, setting alarms to stand up after every 30 minutes, playing outdoor games, and investing on a standing desk. This is our bibliography. Thus, we would like to conclude that it is a really high time that we start sitting less and start moving more. Thank you so much.
Okay, I have two or three questions. I'm allowed only two. First thing is this: you're saying they sat for 6 to 8 hours, right? 6 to 8 hours. Was it alarmingly more than they did when they went to office? When a person goes to office, how many hours do you think he sits on his table?
Ma'am, they do for 6 to 8 hours, but while traveling, they travel from house to the office. So there was some physical activity included to go to the job or to come back from home. Because they were at home, they were continuously sitting. At office, they can take break, they can go
Yes,
talk to.
that was what should have also been addressed. That other than looking at their laptops while they were working, where they're sitting, you of course said they did exercise. Some of them did exercise, and some of them danced and things like that. I think people in the office also, while going, they sat. Okay, while going to office, most of them now sit in cars or trains or whatever, and they are standing also. This hours of sitting is not really very high, what I feel, from the people who are working from home and the people who are working in the offices. Okay, like you said, because they self-answered questions, you could have probed this slightly more. How much time in the morning, how much time in the afternoon, that type. It could have given you some more answers. Okay. Now, this timing also was very important when they actually opened the computers or their laptops to sit and work. The time of most of them you would work in the night because they were working from in foreign countries or whatever, their circadian rhythm would have been upset and that would be affecting their health still more, So the timing of when they sat was important. I think so. I don't know. And how much exercise would you advise them? Since you're saying sedentary lifestyle, opposite to sedentary is exercising, right? Physical activity, lifestyle. Okay. Now, physical activity also has its limitations. You cannot overdo your physical exercise and then people die of heart attack and all that. That should have been addressed a little bit. How much exercise? How long time? Otherwise, it's a very good presentation with a lot of your graphics and very clear statements. It was very good, very good. Only one or two things, if you had probed slightly more, a little bit more in depth would have come. Good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, since you asked how much exercise would we recommend to the people, living a sedentary, like I would just give a short answer on that.
Yes, you can answer, long answer, no time. No.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, we believe that at least if a person is living a sedentary lifestyle, to 30 to 60 minutes of exercise daily is important. So, we cannot directly, so people who are living a sedentary lifestyle, we cannot directly recommend them to, start exercising for 1 hour at the first go. So, we will gradually tell them that since you have been living such kind of a lifestyle since a long time and it's become a pattern now, so you can start with 15 minutes exercise daily till the time you get habitual to it, 15 minutes, then 30 minutes, and then you can go up to 1 hour. So I feel 1 hour exercise a day will be sufficient enough to make them physically active and improve their health status and also improve their different biochemical parameters if they have any. So I would recommend, like we would actually recommend a slowly and gradual increase in the exercise timing, starting with, of course, 10 to 15 minutes a day. And the exercise form can be anything which they are comfortable with, walking around, or, if they're comfortable going to gyms, or, even cycling, or, walking if they're going to work now. So now they can, they can walk or park their vehicles a little far, than their job destination, and they can walk a little. So that way they can, induce into exercise also by not actually, sparing time for it. They can
for exercise.
Yeah, they can just put it in their daily life, in daily practice. So they are active also and not very much sitting and, having a sedentary behavior.
Yes, that is a very good answer. Like they can not wasting time and parking the cars away, or in between jobs standing up and walking around and then coming back. That is also very much suggested nowadays. Very good answer.
Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
So use of staircase, I can say at workplace, you can make use of staircase to have a good health. By this also you can reduce your sitting time. Promotion of stair use, I can say. Exercises, you can have some yoga exercises for the staff members that can be arranged. So physical activity will do help. So this will reduce the extended sitting hours at desk and in the front of screen also. Well answered.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, with this we'll move ahead. I would like to call next group, code number 7.
Hello everyone. The title of our research is Self-Image Addressing Young Women's Concern. Introduction. In today's world, most of the younger generations have anxieties and thoughts about their bodies. Self-image is the perception of a person's physical self-thoughts and feelings, positive, negative, or both. Body image can also affect the mental health condition of a woman due to negative thoughts and feelings, self-esteem, depression, etc. These are the research paper of other authors that we referred. Objectives of the study was to understand what women perceive about their body and to find out the thought process of a woman regarding their self-image and acceptance of their body. Methodology. The descriptive design was used for the study with purposive sampling technique. Sample size of 200 respondents from the city of Mumbai and its suburbs. A self-constructed questionnaire was prepared based on the objectives to acquire information from the respondents. The questionnaire was sent to the respondents through various social platforms. The data is described in percentages. Results and discussion. Figure 1. What is your perception towards your self-image? 95.5% respondents' perception towards their self-image is positive, while a handful of 4.5% are negative with respect to it. Figure 2. How often do you compare your body image with others? 41.5% of the respondents sometimes compare themselves with others, while 8% of them always compare themselves with others. Figure 3. Do you ever feel conscious about any feature of your body? About 67.5% of respondents felt conscious about feature of their body, while the remaining 32.5% of them felt unconscious. Figure 4. When did you start feeling conscious about your body? 34.5% of respondents felt conscious about their body after someone gave opinion on it, while 8.5% of them always perceived to be conscious by others. 5.5% of respondents felt conscious when they suffered from health issue always, due to facial breakdown by always comparing with others, and some did not feel conscious at all. Figure 5. How did you deal with body shaming? When asked about dealing with body shaming, 44% of respondents ignore the comments, 2.5% would start an argument on it, and the rest 1% of the respondents will consider it is a joke and move on. Some were positive and accept their body the way it is. Figure 6. Has your self-esteem affected by your concern towards your body? 40% of respondents' self-esteem was affected by their increasing concern towards their body image, while the 60% of respondents' self-esteem was unaffected. Figure 7. Has your body perception changed after being teased or compared with others? 65% of respondents' body perception changed by positively, followed by 28.5% of respondents negatively. About 6.5% of respondents said that it never affected them. They ignored the comments, and sometimes some of the respondents felt a change in their perception toward their body image. Figure 8. Has you ever shared your insecurities with anyone? About 52% of respondents share their insecurities with others, while 48% of respondents did not. Figure 9. If you can afford it, will you consider cosmetic surgery to improve your appearance and your body? 73% of the respondents denied to go through cosmetic surgery to improve their appearance, followed by 10% of respondents agreed to.
Figure 11. What influenced you the most to think and change your body image? 39.5% of respondents are influenced by their friends to think and change their body image, and a handful of 4% are influenced by health issues themselves when compared with others, and some are not at all influenced by any means. Figure 12. What will you do if a change is brought about in your body image? About 44% of respondents developed a positive personality if a change is brought in their appearance. Furthermore, 3.6% of respondents don't want any change in their appearance, and some wants to do everything in their capacity to flaunt their body image. Conclusion. This study is an attempt to recognize young adult women's body image perceptions. The most significant difference was noted that while the women are cognizant of certain of their body traits, they have a good self-image. Few younger women have self-doubt and are not confident as they should be because they compare themselves to others. The perception of women's self-image has a little effect on their self-esteem. The rise of social media and hyper-competitive marketing has resulted in the promotion of unattainable aesthetic ideals. People get depressed as a result of body shaming because they isolate themselves, which increases their urge to eat more, leading to obesity in young adults. They stay away from socializing and sit at home and do nothing. People with a high level of social anxiety are afraid of what others think of themselves, so they avoid using social media and refrain from sharing photos. Body image concerns are not uncommon. We are all human beings, and our essence is to focus our imperfections rather than striving for perfection. Therefore, concerns about body image can hinder our ability to find our true self. Recommendation. To identify what young adult women perceive of their self-image and what makes them to think of a change in their perception towards their body. To overcome the challenges of negative thoughts of self-image that leads to mental trauma. These are the references we used for our research paper. Thank you.
Okay. I will start from the end. Your recommendations. Yeah. What is your first recommendation?
Ma'am, it is to identify the negative thoughts which led to the women face negative thoughts in with concern to their self-image. So we have focused on that particularly.
Yes, you have focused on that. The study has focused in that. But when you are giving your recommendation, you should say you should not focus on your body image. Your self-image is much more important. And that is one thing I think this study should have realized, that self-image and body image are not same. Okay, a person with a fat body also has a very high personality, and they are not ashamed of their body, and their self-image is different. Okay.
Yes.
So this, if you can define self-image for me, that would be better. Now we go to your first this thing. What is self-image? Is it body image?
Ma'am, it is the combination of appearance of one person, and it is also about its mental health and other factors, physical health.
So your mental health, your self-image is actually how you perceive yourself, how you see yourself, not only your body image. You are young, so you are focused on the body. Yes, fat people have got a lot of negativity in them. I will not eat. That is understood, 100% understood. But there is also a big psychological part over here. Some fat people, they don't have any regret being fat. Some thin people, they say, I have to hear I'm thin, but I'm healthy. So what? So what if I'm thin? That self-image is more important here than saying that, your image, body, and therefore your recommendation should have come in that way. That whatever you are, psychologically, you can always strengthen your self-image. There are people who will body shame you and things like that, and you need not care about, especially for the youngsters. I think, yes, there's a lot of improvement which you can do for your study, but for your age, you have done well. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So just adding to that, your self-image includes your physical dimension, I can say, psychological dimension, your intellectual dimensions, skill dimension, moral dimensions, and sexual dimension itself. So a person can be identified not only through the face and figure, but they can be identified by the qualities that they have with it. It can be problem solving, it can be bravery, empathy, responsibility, and so on.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, students. Thank you, judges. Let's move on to the next presentation. I would like to call code number 8.
Medical sales representatives are a key link between the pharmaceutical industry. Greetings and good health wishes to respected jury, teachers, and my fellow participants. The topic of our research study is quality of work life of medical representatives. Medical sales representatives are a key link between the pharmaceutical industry and healthcare sectors. These professionals have to travel long distances and withstand long waiting hours due to the increase in outpatient list. Also, the high pressure caused due to high sales target are also factors that affect their health and work life. They are also exposed to the other risk factors such as noise, vibration, humidity, microorganisms, and human parasites like mosquitoes that cause allergy or toxicity. Another factor that negatively impacts medical representatives is job dissatisfaction that is caused due to lack of motivation and monotonous and unchallenging job. On comparing the other kinds of salespersons, medical sales representatives have to work for longer hours and at odd times to complete their sales target within their tight deadlines. Another fact that was common among representatives was traveling for long distances. Hence, some medical representatives found it easier to travel by two-wheelers. According to Chauvet, lower back pain was a common problem among two-wheeler users. In case of medical representatives, that was 36%. And the other common areas of discomfort reported were neck, upper back, and wrist. Work hazards are also responsible for occupational diseases, and this was first identified in 1948. Overwhelming evidences show that hazardous work, working conditions, and environment fail to obtain homeostasis, resulting in death or severe disability. Up to the 1980s, the government did not pay major attention to the occupational health in developing countries, including India. The objective of our study was to gain knowledge of a demographic profile of medical sales representatives, learn about the job stresses and its effects on the performance among them, and identify the quality of work life of medical sales representatives. An exploratory study was conducted among randomly selected 200 male medical representatives in the state of Maharashtra. Though initially it was decided that both male and female medical representatives would be interviewed, me and my fellow teammates came into the realization that there were very few female medical representatives. Therefore, only male medical representatives in the age group of 20 to 50 years were interviewed to recognize the job stressors faced by them. The tools used for data collection included a self-constructed questionnaire which consisted of 3 parts. The part A being the socio-demographic information, then second part being the information related to the work profile, and then the quality of work-life assessment. The data was collected and entered in the MS Excel sheet, and simple statistics was used to analyze the data. We took the medical representatives between the age group of 20 to 50 years working in Mumbai, and we did not take those who had less than 1 year of work experience and refused to sign the informed consent form. Quality of work life, by definition, is the degree to which the organization contributes to material and psychological well-being of its employees. It is also one of the major factors that affect work productivity. Includes components like workplace stress, financial reimbursement, work-life integration, working condition, work-life balance, and job satisfaction. Job satisfaction also includes other factors like wage satisfaction, the benefits received, growth in career, work-related fatigue, time paucity, job security, and job autonomy. Results and discussions. The result states that the maximum medical representatives were graduate with a degree of BMMS, and a small percentage of them had done D Pharma. It was also found that majority of the medical representatives were in the age group of 26 to 35 years. 45% of the sample size had 1 to 5 years of work experience. It was also found that 45% of the medical representatives were under the BMI category of obese 1. It was found that the average working hours is 9.5 hours, and a majority of them had a straight day shift, which usually extended their average working hours. Hours of sleep and circadian rhythm is very essential to ensure the effect from job stressors are minimized, and it was noticed that 27.5% of the medical representatives slept for less than 6 hours. It was also found that more the amount of experience, more are the expectations, which resulted in the medical representatives having more experience having a lower quality of sleep. Job autonomy by definition can be seen as the ability to make decisions. Many people were only somewhat satisfied with it, but majority of which the majority were permanent, and the career advancement was not seen as a motivator. It was also found that majority of the medical representatives were happy with their job autonomy, but not happy with their career growth. Also found that 71% of them were not able to balance their work and family life. Even though we would have liked to explain the data in terms of numbers, they were not equal in case of permanent and temporary. medical representatives. Therefore, we took their percentage. It was analyzed that medical representatives who had a permanent nature of employment were more satisfied with their job than those who had a temporary nature of employment, which concluded the fact that job security is one of the major factors in job satisfaction. Hence, on summarizing, we found that job satisfaction is a major factor in work productivity, and it also influences the quality of work life. Work-related fatigue and body aches and pains can be symptoms of job dissatisfaction, and to prevent job dissatisfaction, organizations may need to redesign job and do proper job analysis to reduce the overload. An effective and open communication system could be incorporated, and in general, the sharing of workload will reduce stress and also help improve the quality of work life. Medical representatives need to be trained for doing smart work rather than hard work so that they can be more creative, effective, and help increase their performance. In India, occupational health is not integrated with primary health care. Occupational safety and health till date remains under the mandate of Ministry of Labour and not the Ministry of Health. Enforcement is carried out through Directorate of Industrial Safety and Health at state levels that operate through factory inspecting engineers and medical inspectors of factories. Occupational health not only deals with work-related disorders or diseases, but it also encompasses all factors that affect workers' health. With changing business scenario, the role of an occupational health physician has become more demanding, and those unable to keep pace with such developments may find themselves redundant. Hence, there is an urgent need for strengthening skills, developing new capacities, and broadening knowledge in the area of occupational health. If the efficiency of the currently existing training facility in India is increased, the prospect of occupational health will obviously improve a great deal. The need for competent professionals is of critical importance in the management of occupational health in the liberalized economy. The country needs close to 8,000 qualified occupational health professionals, and there is a tremendous gap between the need and availability of qualified personnel. Thank you.
Okay, yes. In your recommendations, you have not given recommendations for the employers of medical representatives. It was a general recommendations per se of people with jobs who have job related problems physically or mentally. But you are studying only medical representatives, right? So you could have given some recommendations for the medical representatives, what they should be doing, and for those who employ the medical representatives, that there is no promotion or anything as such for them. So that could have been addressed, that there should be a ladder in their professional life also, as a junior representative or senior representative. And these things don't come up. My first question to start with is, you said you have validated your questionnaire. How did you validate? Can you tell me something about how you validated your questionnaire or your study? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. It was a self-consult questionnaire, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Hello?
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, it was a self-constructed questionnaire. So validated,
Yeah.
I didn't get the point.
You have stated in your presentation, you just go into validation takes a long time, and you cannot validate a questionnaire that easily. You know, you have to do a pilot, you have to give it to experts, and then they have to say these questions are all right, and then you make a questionnaire. So you have actually not validated. So don't use it. It is all right. Undergraduate level, you need not validate. Okay. So you have just said we validated the questionnaire. I don't think you did. Okay. It is a long process. Validation is a long process. Okay. Second thing is, when in your recommendation, do you think medical representatives, they get some incentive? That is why they are working for 16 hours a day.
Ma'am, the main thing is it's a flexible, they have a very flexible schedule.
Yes.
So that is why it's, I mean, and their targets are very tight, as in they have very tight deadlines. So that is why it extends their working hours.
Yes, time deadlines is one thing, and they have incentives. Like if you sell so much, you will get so much percentage more of your salary. You know, it is
Yes, ma'am.
that has not come in your study. All medical representatives have some incentive about getting more money if they sell more. Because in terms they are salesmen, you should say in lay terms. You see? So that is one reason why they work more, I feel. So these two things you could have studied, but yes, it is a very huge topic, and to put it in a nutshell for undergraduate study is difficult, but you have done well.
Ma'am, I would add to it that they are satisfied with their monetary benefits. Like you said, they get the incentives and then salary. That's why they work. Yeah, they are satisfied with their monetary benefits.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Can you suggest few strategies to MR to attain work-life balance? Could you suggest few strategies to medical representatives to attain work-life balance?
Ma'am, they could actually, if you look at the organization, they could organize workshops and meditation for them so that, you know, they could minimize their job stress. And they could also, support, and they could also minimize, I mean, how do you say it? Distribute the workload a little bit more with towards others as well.
So you can rather say they should plan for the day. They should set the priorities.
Yeah.
They should have a structure of activities. Medical representative should make the structure of activities. They should have a smart work, I can say. They can visit to those doctors who can meet them fast, because it is seen key when medical representatives goes to meet doctor, they have to wait for a long time unless the patient are completed with or done with. So they can visit to such doctors where they can meet fast. They can approach to those doctors who can give them high budget order. So these are few strategies that you can suggest to MR, medical representative, so as it will some or the other way affect the quality of their work life. Okay, well done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, students. Thank you, judges. Let's move on to the next presentation. I would like to call code number 9.
I'm going to present a research on a comparative study on perceived levels of stress and coping strategies used by senior college students during COVID-19. Introduction. Since the last 2 years, the world has been battling with COVID-19 pandemic, and people across the world have experienced lockdowns, restrictions, and social distancing, which has affected their mental and psychological health. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed the functioning of colleges and worldwide too. Psychological stress can impact students' academic performance as well as their future work life, as this may be associated with harmful substances and use and reduced empathy. Coping with the stress situation in a proactive way, which means activities that the person can execute before the stressor occurs as a means of developing and using their personal and social resources to turn the everyday stress into a positive experience. Those individuals who have greater confidence in ability to control the situation would adopt problem-solving strategies which would alleviate the primary cause of distress. The research undertaken tries to understand the perceived levels of stress and coping strategies commonly adopted by the college students during COVID-19. Review of literature. In the research field COVID survey conducted by WHO World Health Organization in 2020,
with 1,106 people across 64 cities reported that a third of respondents faced significant psychological impact because of COVID-19. A number of other surveys indicate that such impact may be related to preoccupation with or anxieties about contracting the virus, depression, sleeping difficulties, irritability, and loneliness. It has recently been observed that fear of COVID-19 is associated more with anxiety and stress, and to a lesser extent with depression. In a study on coping strategies of students of high school and college for anxiety during the pandemic by Nagar in 2021, concluded that family and social support help to reduce avoidance-oriented coping in students. The finding of the study also shows that during the pandemic, students adopted higher avoidance coping strategy than problem solving and seeking social support coping strategy.
Methodology, sample size. The sample size was 100 senior college students, out of which 50 senior college girls and 50 senior college boys participated. Tool used, perceived stress scale, Cohen S. 1983. Coping strategy indicator, Khan AJ in 2019. Method used to collect data. Snowball technique was used to collect data online through Google Form. The data was analyzed using percentage. Inclusion and exclusion criteria. Only senior college students were included in the study from Mumbai. Ethical consideration. The purpose of the study was clearly mentioned in the form. The consent was taken from the participant and it made sure that confidentiality will be maintained. It was informed that the data will be used only for educational purpose. The researcher contact number and email ID in case of any query was also added. Result and discussion. The figure represents the sample distribution. Equal number of boys and girls participated in the study. Sample distribution class-wise. The figure symbolizes the sample distribution class-wise. It is seen that maximum numbers of boys participate from the TY class, that is 22%, and maximum number of girls participated from the SY class, that is 30%. Level of perceived stress. Analyzing the result overall, girls indicated higher level of perceived stress than boys. According to Brown and Larson, for college students, the effect of stress may be heightened due to their increased desire for peer connection, which is hindered when they are forced to physically distance from friends and remain home during COVID time. Coping strategy indicator. Gender difference were evident in individual coping strategies used by college students. The study undertaken shows students during the COVID pandemic adopted all the three coping strategies of problem solving, seeking social support, and avoidance. The result indicate that boys used more of problem-solving strategy, that is 62%. A majority of girls use more of seeking social support strategy, that is 72%.
Coping strategies suggested. These are some self-care activities. Exercising regularly, caring for child, elders, peers, yoga and meditation, mindfulness, maintaining a balanced sleep schedule, relaxing, eating right, keeping a journal, reciting positive affirmations, getting organized, and detoxing from social media. These are some recreational activities such as gardening, listening to music, dancing, reading, cooking, photography, having a pet, and long walks. Now coming to the conclusion, evidence suggests that the COVID-19 pandemic has generally increased levels of stress and depression among individuals. It is concluded that girls have had high perceived stress levels as compared to the boys, and there is a difference in coping strategies used by senior college boys and girls. The COVID-19 pandemic has alarming implications for individuals and collection health and emotional and social functioning. Thus, it is essential to perceive the mental health of individuals and to develop psychological interventions that can improve the mental health of vulnerable groups during the COVID-19 pandemic. Limitations of the study. The study has focused on perceived stress and coping strategies adopted by college students. The study has been conducted on a small sample of 100 respondents. Therefore, the result cannot be generalized. These are the references. Thank you.
Okay, let me start from the beginning. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, students. See, when you talk about perceived stress, yes, what they think is stress. Perceived stress cannot be a research thing. Stress per se has to be the research motivation or the research. Are they really stressed or are they thinking they are stressed? Perceived means they are thinking, they are saying that they are stressed. And actually, if they are stressed, then they are not thinking they are stressed. There's a difference, you know. So for any study, we don't say perception cannot be this thing for research. For you young students, yes, that is okay. I think you should go into actual stress rather than perceived stress. What they think that, yes, I'm stressed out. Always the children will say, I'm stressed out, I'm stressed out. Are they really stressed out or they are just saying and thinking they are stressed out? Okay, that has to be addressed. Secondly, this is a very important study in this time. Okay, there was a lot of psychological issues among the people during this, because especially for college students, because they could not go to college, they could not have friends. So this social media was very helpful in keeping in connection with the family. That is one question we should have asked: how did you keep in touch with your friends and to elevate the stress levels? That was one question, and I think this psychological impact was it addressed to any psychologist? Did they go to a psychologist because they were so much stressed out, because it is on stress now? So did they take medical help? That could be one of the questions. That's it. Okay.
Good presentation, dear students. Could you suggest some strategies to cope up with stress?
Sorry, ma'am?
Could you suggest some strategies to cope up with stress?
People can go to counselor. They can take stress management classes, talking therapy, medication, or support group from their area. That's it.
And we can also take you can do exercise regularly, or a morning walk for relaxing your mind, and you can eat right food for your health, and you can do yoga and meditations. This type of activity you can do for self.
Thank you, ma'am.
We can add also, we can see
I would also like to add that we could keep a journal, and we can recite positive affirmations for positivity, and we can also detox from social media, use less social media time, and we can do a lot of different things also, like a hobby like cooking or dancing or photography, or any, like if we have a pet, so like we can also have spend time with them.
That's it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Come. Aarti ma'am, you want to ask questions?
Done with.
Can we proceed to the next presentation then?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes. With this, this is code number 10. Sorry, it was a technical problem from my side.
Greetings to the jury. Our topic is work from home, a boon for teachers. A teacher is a candle who spends the whole life lighting the lives of the students. And so we decided to conduct our research on higher secondary teachers working from home aged 25 to 45 years. COVID-19 has had a tremendous impact on the teaching profession since it began in early 2020. Teachers played the role of frontliners in protecting the education of students. Teachers have had to adapt to online teaching mode and to increase workload at home and to create an ergonomic friendly home environment to prevent any injuries such as backaches, pains, etc., and to maintain wellness of themselves. During COVID-19 pandemic, teachers played a very critical role in delivering education through online teaching. The teachers worked endlessly and they have been worn out due to online teaching. They didn't had any fixed time for returning back to their computers or laptops. Because of poor workstation design, there are high chances of musculoskeletal disorders and poor postures leading to back pains, neck pains, etc. The specific objectives for our research are as follows: to learn about demographic profile of higher secondary teachers working from home during COVID-19 pandemic, to recognize the work-related challenges faced by higher secondary teachers working from home, to analyze working postures of higher secondary teachers while conducting online sessions, to recommend ergonomic solutions to improve occupational health of higher secondary teachers working from home. Tools used for our research were a self-constructed questionnaire. The questionnaire was divided into three sections. Section A consisted of socio-demographic profile, Section B is about work-related information, and Section C included posture and health-related information. Our research was done with the help of structured interview. A primary data collection was done by meeting people on one-to-one basis. Most of the teachers are postgraduate and average age of teachers is 38 years with an average experience of 11.5 years. And most of the teachers have normal BMI. There is no significant change in the use of spectacles or reading glasses due to excessive screen time as reported. Most of the teachers had 25,000 to 50,000 monthly income. Challenges faced by higher secondary teachers working from home were around 72% of teachers stated that shift was very stressful as they were not well versed with the use of computers. And when asked about switch from offline to online teaching, most of the teachers said that it was very difficult for them to switch from offline to online. There was a loss of autonomy to move out of the house due to time bound. 88% of teachers experience stress, 79% experience anxiety, 74% teachers experience fatigue, 74% teachers experience mood swings too. Most of the teachers set for around 6.1 hour per day. When asked about rest breaks, they said that they did get rest breaks, but when observed, they didn't get any rest breaks because of the workloads. Many teachers said that they took lectures sitting on sofa, chair, bed, floor, and due to lack of back support, it resulted in lower back pain. 77% of teachers complained about body pains and aches, whereas 89% of teachers complained about connectivity issues. Summarization of our research is many teachers experience mixed feeling of frustration and convenience. Teachers were made to call students to attend online sessions, adopted awkward posture for long sitting duration was a reason for body pains and aches. Converting areas in the home to make it convenient for taking online session was a big challenge. Lower back, neck, wrist were the main points where discomfort was very common. Some pros of online teaching were stated by teachers are as convenience of not having to travel to work, opportunity to learn technology.
Negatives of online teaching are poor attention span and attendance of students, connectivity issues. For any ergonomic issue, the solutions are elimination, substitution, engineering controls, administrative controls. As we can't really eliminate the online teaching, we can apply engineering controls by installing laptop docking system by which the laptop screen can be on the eye level, which will lead to 100% reduction of neck pain. Also, installation of wrist mouse pad to reduce the wrist pain. Every teacher was advised strict adherence to the rule of 20-20-20. That is, after every 20 to 30 minutes of screen time to look at the sky or a tree at a distance because they are cool colors. The 20-20-20 rule combines with 20 seconds so that pooling of blood in the lower limb due to long duration is avoided, and conscious use of digital well-being apps such as Action Dash, Digital Detox, etc. to prevent excessive screen timing. These are some suggestions given by experts for the people working from home by sitting on bed, sofa, chair, or standing. As we researchers are ambitious and we want to bring a positive impact in the life of teachers, and as workplace plays a huge role in the physical, mental, economical, and social well-being of workers, this research can be used for creating awareness towards good occupational health and safety to reduce risk and hazards that exist in any profession, and case study method for helping to adopt correct work postures. And we believe optimum health requires the mind, physical body, and spirit to be in balance. These are a few references. Thank you.
Yes, I think this is a very appropriate topic, very timely, because teachers faced they have never taught from online. It was never in their mind ever to teach from online unless it was just through to one student or two students who wanted some special attention or something like that. A very appropriate study. One thing I would say, did you ask the teachers, did they take some, by themselves, some measures to elevate or to, this ergonomic inputs? Did they put themselves, because they were being told constantly that you should not look at the screen, blue light is not good, and you should. Did you ask them that whether they were doing these things that you have suggested? Or none of them were doing it? Huh?
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
For answering your question, we asked them, and some of the teachers said that after experiencing a lot of trouble, like pains or a glare, and because of eyes pain and everything, so after some period of time, they used to do it like consciously, that they were knowing that my eyes are paining, so then they would go and like resort to some of the measures, but they were not like they didn't do it continuously because they just did when it was necessary for them.
Necessary, because they are all educated people. You said postgraduates, huh? So
Yes,
they will
ma'am.
learn very quickly how to do with all these stressful things, how to avoid all these. They are teachers after all, so they learn very quickly. When you're teaching, you learn very fast. Huh? So there was another question which I wanted to ask you was, did the teachers like being at home? I think when I was teaching, I always wanted to be at home so that I could be with my kids. So was it better they wanted to be at home and then teach? That was one of the things you said, positive aspects of teaching. So would they prefer कि अभी चलो online class ही लेते हैं, घर पे तो रह सकते हैं?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, there was a 50-50 situation for them because many teachers living in the village areas and they have to travel to Bombay side and everything. So some of them said it is nice that sitting at a home because it would take them 2 to 3 hours for traveling. So they were saying it's nice to be at home, but the thing was the syllabus was a great issue and the students weren't responding to online teaching, so they weren't aware that whether students are understanding or not. But as to answer the question, it was like a 50-50 situation for them. They also wanted to go also, and they didn't want to go also.
Yes, that is correct. Very good. Nice.
Yes, I would like to add due to COVID pandemic, it has saved teachers' time, I think so. But traveling issues and that has saved the time. But it have brought imbalance in their personal lives also. Many teachers had some psychological issues also. Many elderly teachers, I can say, were under tremendous pressure to prove themselves how to use this online platform to teach the students. So yes, of course, we can say this online teaching has a mixed impact. I can say it was a boon and bane to teachers.
Yes.
Well done, dear students.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Great. Thank you, judges. Thank you, students. We'll move on to the last presentation of the day. Code number 11.
Our group would like to present our research title, Mission Safe Reopening Perception of College Student About Returning to the College Campus Post-Pandemic. Introduction. The effect of the pandemic have taken a devastating toll on millions of people of all the heartbreaking effects of COVID-19. Its impact on young adults of the world would prove to be one of the most damaging ones. The closure of schools and universities has affected more than 1.5 billion children and youth worldwide and has significantly changed how youth live and learn during the pandemic. As the danger of the infection and damage began to burn off and people completed the vaccine schedules, universities and colleges have reopened their campus and called back the students to institutions. To resume offline learning, it is essential to develop robust systems to deal with all the challenges of reopening campuses to facilitate the study education. It is imperative to educate students on best practice. Administrators should undertake simple measures to prevent the spread of the disease on the campus. Rational. It is important to consider different scenarios and examine the challenges experienced by students. Regarding reopening of higher education institutions, this would help in highlighting various important steps to be initiated in reopening of college campus. This study is conducted to explore various challenges of the stakeholders in the post-pandemic period in terms of how to resume teaching, learning in dramatically different contexts. Aim to study the perception of college students with regards to returning to campus in the post-COVID era.
Objectives: to find out the concern of college students about returning to college campus, to explore the different measures requested by students to be implemented by the college to make them comfortable, to find out the different online learning challenges faced by students. Methodology: research design, exploratory study, sample 125 young adults in the age group of 16 to 24 plus years studying in the Mumbai and its suburbs. 2. Self-constructed questionnaires seeking demographic information and items related to concern about safety traveling by public transport and online learning challenges about returning to campus in the post-pandemic era. Data collection. The data was collected from undergraduate and postgraduate students of colleges through the Google form. Data analysis. Data was analyzed in percentages. Results and discussion. Demographic profile. Age of respondents. The highest number of respondents, 45.6%, are in the age group of 20 to 23 years. Level of respondents. The highest number of students, 20%, in this research study are in the first year of early childhood diploma programs, followed by students 17.6% in the third year of BSc HSC. Name of student college. The highest number of respondents study in SPND, 59.2%, followed by SIES, 33.6%. Location of the college. Highest number of students attend college in Ghatkopar locality, 51.2%, followed by Sine, 40.8%. Place of residency. Majority of the students live in Kurla, 31.2%, followed by Govandi Chembur area, 29.6%, and for 24% of respondents live in Thane and beyond. On interaction with the students, it was found that the students living the far away were concerned and aware of interaction while traveling in crowded public transport. feeling about returning to campus. The above figure indicate that most of the respondents, 42.3%, are excited to return to campus. 26.1% of the respondents indicate that they are feeling okay about returning to the campus. Very few students are apprehensive and optimistic about returning to the campus. Comfort level of about returning offline college. The above figure shows that 35% of the students are just comfortable about returning to the campus. 24.5% students are most comfortable about returning to the campus. 21.8% of the students are a little uncomfortable, and 10% are very uncomfortable at the prospects of returning to college. Concern related to returning to the college campus. The highest number of students, 38%, are concerned about the decreased flexibility due to the digging of the college campus. 32.4% of the students are concerned about getting exposed to the coronavirus at the college. Other concern related to returning to the campus. The above figure highlighted that the highest percentage of students, 32.4%, have no concern about returning to the campus, and 29.6% of students feel that there is ongoing risks of infection if that return to the campus. 17.6% of the students are aware of non-compliance of COVID safety regulations, which increase of affected and someone on the campus. Facility required to make returning to campus more comfortable. The highest number of students, 46.8%, have requested their wearing masks should be made compulsory on the campus, and 37.6% of the respondents have requested the hand sanitizer station to be available at different locations on the campus. 25.7% of students shocked availability of vaccines on the campus to facilitate vaccination and reducing risks to being affected. More option to help students feel more comfortable college campus. 52.3% of the students have mentioned that proper health and hygiene practice have to be implemented to reduce risks for all, and 49.5% students have requested social distancing norms have to be implemented. 16.5% of students still prefer remote learning. Online learning challenges. The maximum numbers of students, 44.4%, had lack of adequate connectivity as one of the major challenge to online learning. 35.2% of students had issue regarding remaining motivated to pay attention to classes held only and have reliable Wi-Fi internet connectivity.
Conclusion: student was conducted to find out the perception of student with regards to returning to the college campus. Large number of students requested that wearing mask, face cover should compulsory on the campus, and felt that hand sanitizing station should be available at different location on the campus. Student emphasized need to maintain proper health and hygiene practice. Recommendation: according to be avoid at entry exit point, wearing mask, face cover, that is mask, must be compulsory at all times on the campus. Regular learning and sanitizing of the entire campus. It is essential to learn what students want and how they want to practice in the process of education. So these are the references which we have used for our presentation. Thank you.
Okay, you are relieved it is over, no? Thank you. Okay. This, I think, is also a very appropriate topic, very good topic, because this was, would you like to come back to college, or you also have these fears? You are enjoying being back in college?
We are enjoying coming back to the college.
Yeah, you don't have any fear, no apprehension? No. But 1/3 of the students do have this kind of apprehension. Yes. You are not wearing mask. When are you wearing your mask? You are recommending that you must wear mask. Huh? Social distancing. Is it possible to have social distancing when you are meeting friends after 2 years? You think they will stay 1 meter away from each other? Okay.
Yes, ma'am, certainly.
So one thing I wanted to ask you was, were the students vaccinated? Did you find out? Were they already vaccinated? All of them were vaccinated?
Yes, ma'am. The students were vaccinated. That's why they are being allowed to come to the colleges.
That is one point you should have mentioned, that only vaccinated students are allowed to come to college. Others have to get the vaccination facility.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And yes, about your online difficulties of learning, you have asked, but that could have been avoided. That is okay, because you are talking about students coming back to campus life. And
Yes.
why do you think it is important, besides learning, to come back to campus life? Or kya seekhte ho yahan se? What else do you learn? Classroom teaching is one thing. Anything else you learn?
Socialization, ma'am. Socialization.
Socializing and nothing else?
No,
No, ma'am. And only socialization.
Only socialization you learn? Okay. Next time now that you're in class, you see what else you're learning. I will not tell you. There are many, many things you learn when you come to class. Sharing, giving time to each other, doing for somebody else. Okay, doing something for the college. Socializing, hasna khelna to theek hai. But there are other things which the teachers tell you to do, isn't it? Yes, you learn so many things. You list them down what you do, and then you will find out why it is so important to come to college. Okay, very good.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, dear students, your topic was very well related to the theme of today's presentation. And ma'am very clearly highlighted whether you have done survey with the vaccinated students and non-vaccinated students. The same question was in my mind also. So, well done, dear students.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, judges, for your valuable time. And all the dear students who have presented very well. Okay, now I would like to call Dr. Ritu Bhatia ma'am to take the program further.
Thank you so much,
Over
Lopa.
to you, Ritu ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Lopa and Sanil, for this technical session of presentation. And now we move ahead and to the next part of the competition. Now the dear students and the delegates, we will have our question answer session. Now in this session, the questions will be answered by the participating teams, and the team members share their Urjita experience also. This is going to be very exciting and hopefully enriching session. To take over from here, I would like to invite our staff members, Ms. Madhura Shirsat and Ms. Vaibhavi Mehta, to handle the session. Over to you, Madhura and Vaibhavi.
Thank you, ma'am. We had such a wonderful session with this paper presenters also, such an enriching session on different topics concerned to the changing environment. We loved it, and I hope that all our participant students also have loved it. So now we would encourage the students to ask questions. But few things before we start with the Q&A session. The questions, those students who want to ask questions should raise their hands so that we follow a flow. We don't jumble up with the question and answer session. Secondly, we would like to ask questions only on the topics of their research or regarding the theme of Urjita. And also we would give time for our participants to share their experiences regarding to them.
Okay. Once you ask the question, please mute your microphone again so that the one who is answering doesn't find any disturbances. Also, if the question is related to particular group, then please name the participant of the group so that they can well understand your question. Thank you. Now moving on towards the students. Please, students, whoever wants to ask the question can raise their hands. Okay, we have 4 participants.
We have 4 participants who have raised their hands. Faiza, you can ask your question.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. So my question is, how was the interest built up in taking in this research?
This is pertaining to any group, or it's a general question, Khan Faiza?
It's a journal question, ma'am.
Okay, so please, any group who would like to answer that, how was your experience in taking up this research?
Ma'am, it was because of our methodology which we have searched, and we get to know about the research.
Okay, so basically what Faiza wants to ask you is what encouraged you or what made you interested to take up this particular project as a research, or to take up the topic for the research. I think more precisely, this is what the question of Faiza is. I would encourage the paper presenters to talk regarding their interest, because this will always help the students coming up in the next batch who are going to be your future participants in these to grow their interest in this particular field of research.
Ma'am, I would like to answer it. That our interest for, like, we saw the COVID situation and we saw that the teachers were struggling while taking the online teaching, because they had never imagined in their lives that they would have to go online and take the classes, where the teachers were experienced and where the teachers were used to take offline classes with one-to-one interaction with the students. But now, as they were online, and as many of my friends and like my colleagues and my relatives, they are teachers, we saw that when we visited them, when they were taking online lectures, we saw that they are yelling from their homes, from the computers, the students, please respond, please respond, please respond, but they weren't responding. And then we thought that we should conduct a research which highlights the challenges faced by teachers. Thank you.
It was a very unique, I believe, experience, and very unique topic also. Thank you for answering.
Yeah, I think Asta, Bhanushali and team wants to answer this question.
Yes, please.
You all can please answer.
Yes, ma'am. We learned the technical parts of the conducting research. We inspired to work with the elderly people, helping them people at the home.
So have you ever worked with elderly people before? Yes. So was this experience something new and different?
Yes, ma'am.
I hope you all enjoyed.
Yes, ma'am, we have enjoyed.
Who wants to ask the question?
Okay, now we can proceed to our next question.
Yeah.
We'll ask Mariam. Mariam, you can ask your question now.
So good afternoon, everyone. And my question is to all the participants, that how did you manage your time to attend for your lecture to do this paperwork despite of COVID times and lectures and internship?
Basically more about time management, right?
Yes, most close to heart question for all the participants.
Yes.
I feel, yeah. You all can, the participants can very
After our lectures, after our internship, we used to come to the college again. We used to sit, or else we used to go to home. From home, we used to search and come and make the presentation in the college. And from there, we started getting interest, and then we have made the research.
It's a lot of hard work and a lot of time management, because I believe there was internship going on, lectures going on, and the research. But good job, everyone.
There's also a team, I think Sahita Ale from the team wants to answer this question. Yes, Sahita.
Yes, it was a very nice experience, because after going home, we used to schedule the meetings for discussing what to do and what not. So it was nice. And maintaining the internship timings, and this was very difficult, but we would have tried to do it that we can manage both. We used to sit at night and do.
Yes, please. Anyone else anyone from the paper presenter want to answer the question about their time management, that how did they manage the time in
How
relation
did
to
they manage
internship?
basically their schedule
Yeah.
with all their things?
Ma'am, I want to answer the same question.
Yes, please.
So, ma'am, coming from a college where from the first year we were taught about time management by our teachers and mentors, that tum log ko, and they actually pushed us to participate in many events. So from the first year we have that hang in us ki, studies ke sath extracurricular activities bhi manage karna hai. And basically our research over here was making a pizza base, an alternative healthy pizza base. So actually we are really grateful that college ke labs also, they actually the helpers were there, because after our lectures and everything, we used to go there, we used to ask that sir, we need food materials, we need the oven and everything, so they made it available for us also. So humne bhi we have worked hard, but at the same time our college is also pushed in and given in their best key. Our students are going and representing, they are doing something new, so let us do our part. So in that way our college has also helped us a lot, ma'am.
It's a teamwork, I believe, right? It's a team which helps you to manage your time well. Very nice. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Now, Shruti Gaikwad, do you want to ask a question? You have raised your hand.
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am. I would like to ask the presenter that did you make your own tool or got used a standardized tool for the presentation?
The question is, the tool which was used was standardized or it was made by the team members itself for the research purpose? Would anyone like to answer this?
Ma'am, we have made by our own references and we have done it ourselves.
You have made your own tool. So Balbir's group, I think, have made her own tool. What about the other groups?
Excuse me, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. So, ma'am, we had used two tools. First was perceived stress scale, and second was coping strategies indicative scale. We had used this techniques.
So it was a standardized tool, I believe.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, and we had also used the snowball technique, which means Google Forms survey.
Was it a combination or only standardized tools were used?
Sorry, ma'am.
Was it a combination of standardized tool and I think there's... Can you hear me?
Yeah, ma'am. Can you repeat that, ma'am?
I was asking, so you have used standardized tool and then you said you have used Google Form also. So that Google Form you had made? Or
Yes, we had made a questionnaire and we had circulated to the students.
What about the other groups? They want to answer?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to answer. I'm
Yes,
from the
ma'am.
medical representative group. So we constructed a self-constructed questionnaire, and we took the interview by face-to-face interview, like one-on-one basis interview. So
Thank you, ma'am.
So you made your own tool and then you...
yes, ma'am. We made our own tool. We constructed the questionnaire and...
Correct. Any other group paper presenter would like to answer, or should we move to the next question? Okay. So moving to the next question, Astha Bhanushali?
I think that's a team who wanted to answer.
Acha. Astha Bhanushali group?
You all have raised your hand. You wanted to answer the question?
Yes, ma'am. We have also conducted the self-constructed tool. We are this.
Moving to the next question.
So I would like Shreya to ask up the next question. Shreya, you can ask your question since she has raised her hand.
Good afternoon, everyone. So firstly, I would like to ask that how did you all manage to collect the data, especially during the pandemic period? Like we all were at our places and not allowed for the interaction. So what were the difficulties and challenges that you all faced for the collecting the data?
I think this is one of the most valid question in this
We
particular
have
period
done from
because
the survey form, Google form, like giving to the groups, passing the forms to different peoples, and we have get the data from there.
Any other team willing to answer? You all can answer. I think, yeah. Yes. Yes, Nurmai.
Yes, so when we did our data collection, so we individually interviewed each one of our subjects, and in that we found out that the teenagers were not able to identify what cereal was what pulses were what. We had to show them pictures. Then also we had to include their parents in our data research, so like interview, because the parents were the subjects were not comfortable or they did not know about their socioeconomic status. So we had to approach their parents to get the accurate data.
So this was also for the age group of adolescents, I guess.
Yes.
Anyone else would like to answer this question? Because this question is such a valid for all the research paper presenters today, because everyone has their own story of data collection. Everyone has their own hurdles, complications of their data collection. I would like all of you to share it with the next upcoming generation, so that they will, take care of these things, particularly in advance.
So, ma'am, I would like to answer it too. For us, for interviewing the teachers, as a question was that when it was lockdown, we tried our best to go and interview like on a personal one-to-one basis. But when it was not possible at all, we did video callings. We took the numbers of the teachers, we called them personally, we contacted, and then we told them that we have to conduct a research and please can you assist us. And the teachers were so nice that they said yes, sure, and they spared their time from their busy schedule. And one more limitation for us for conducting the data was that they were so busy that our research, like our questionnaire, was about 20 to 25 minutes, but they were so busy, so the time constraint was a big limitation for us to conduct our research. Thank you.
Basically, people who were not able to go on field for their questionnaire and interview, they've used telephonic interview method for getting that data, which is again one of the techno thing, which has helped us in the COVID time. Yes. So moving up to the next question. Okay, Zehra Dahodwala wants to ask a question.
Yes, ma'am. As ma'am said, we are the upcoming students who will do the Urjita in the next year, hopefully. So I want to know some of the tips or some of the small things you kept in the mind and then did the research, so that when we do the research, we keep the small things in the mind and then do the research.
One of the good question which has come up, at what things should be kept in mind before doing research. So yes, the participants who have
you can share your experience, basically.
Had the experience can share it with your next batch.
What were the hurdles which were faced by you? So you can share it with the students, so that next time when they go for the research, they have this things ready, that what are the problems faced, and they can find a solution and work on it, right? So T-Wise, I would like you to speak and help.
Like they can have a lot of reading part, and they should always focus on what topic they have taken, and they should research on that particular topic only.
Focus should be the topic itself and nothing else.
Yes.
The key.
Yes.
The group would like to answer this question.
Ma'am, the questionnaire that we made should have been very apt, like all the answers, because usually happens that when we get the answers, we think of more questions. We should have asked this also. So we have to formulate a questionnaire in a manner that will answer all our questions and won't take a lot of time from the person who is answering.
Less time consuming and a precise questionnaire is
very
one of the most important
yes.
key point.
So that you don't move from your focus and you get your answers. Sometimes when we don't have a questionnaire, we tend to forget some questions. So making a questionnaire is very important. Very good point. Any other group? Yes.
And we should firstly we should understand our questionnaire, so that we will able to answer that questions first, and then we will interview the other person, so that we can explain them properly what they are expected to be answered.
This is an important, really important point, where pre-testing of questionnaire is really important before you do your research. If you actually imply it on your sample.
Yes. Yes. Another group.
Yeah. We would like as many groups would answer this question, because this is one of the most important questions which can be.
Ma'am, I want to answer.
Yes.
Yes, so you have to select the relevant topic and research on it deeply, and don't be panicked while serving the questions. Yes, thank you.
Were you nervous before presentation? Yes.
Yes, ma'am, little bit, not
Nervous? Yes. So nervousness is good, but little bit, but yes. Questionnaire, and especially certain terms which we use for our questionnaire, we should be well aware about those terms, so that when someone asks us that question or the meaning of that term, we should be able to explain. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So, girls, what was the feeling like before presentation and after presentation?
Before presentation, it was like something nervous feeling, but after presentation is now very good. We are waiting for the results.
Okay. Okay. Any other group who would like to answer this question? That whatever the yes.
We were, excuse me, ma'am. We were very stressed and very nervous. We had this feeling, will be good? Are we doing well? We had this feeling inside us. But now, very good that we attempted. It was a very
learning process. Yes. Yes. Okay. We would like to move to our next question.
Ma'am, can I?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, so we were sort of nervous before our presentation started, but then we were like, no, we have given a lot of presentations in our college which have helped us to boost our confidence. Although there is always nervousness, a bit of nervousness, but then that point came in mind that we have given presentation in front of our mentors and everything. They have helped us a lot in many ways. So yeah, we were nervous, but then it went
Everyone
well.
has done a good job.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so we would like to proceed to the next question. Tanaya Saswade, I would ask you to ask up your question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So my question is to all those who just presented. So basically, how much time did it take for you to remove all the data and do all the research for this presentation?
Basically, time consumption. How much time it took you all to complete this research?
We took at least a week to search the data, to collect the data for the topic.
And how much time it took overall for completing your research?
It is almost a day that we have taken. We have not completed, but more than 5 days we have spent.
What about the other groups?
Ma'am, at least 10 to 15 days to find out.
15 days, okay.
Since we were waiting for the response, it at least took 10 to 15 days.
What about the other groups, girl? How much time did you all take? Yes.
Yes, how many more questions are there, Madhura and Vaibhavi?
I have 3 to 4 more questions.
Okay, can you club it and make it a one question, and then let us wind up, because the results are ready.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. So this would be the last question, girls. Last question who wants to ask. Okay. There are 2 hands which are raised. Okay. Shruti has asked and Zara has asked. Okay, Shruti, you can ask your question.
I think after Shruti's question.
Let this be the last question.
Yes.
Yeah, let this be the last question.
I also want to ask a question that for the topic of your was challenges and opportunities in the changing world. So I want to ask all the presenters that how did you got to know that I want to take this topic? This topic will be suiting, and this is the current scenario. How did you get to know about, and how much research did you did, and what all things you kept in the mind before doing it?
Excuse me, ma'am. I would like to answer this. Ma'am, we had seen the same similar problem and we had experienced stress, anxiety too in our lives. So we just wanted to know more about it by researching and going deep. That what do youngsters feel? We wanted to know about that. I hope Zaira has got the answer. Yes, yes,
Ma'am,
people.
can we answer?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Sir, our topic was mission safe reopening from the preparation of college student coming back to the college. So it was basically like it was current scenario of the situation which was going on. So we felt that this topic would be much more better to research on this topic.
After 2 years, almost we have entered the college.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anyone else? The last group, anyone wants to answer this question?
May just wind up now because already the judges are,
So I think
really
we should.
tired. Yeah. So
Thank you,
wind up
everyone,
this.
students and paper presenters for actively participating in Q&A session. We would request Ritu ma'am to please take forward from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaibhavi. Thank you, Madhura and Vaibhavi, for conducting this whole session so beautifully. And a special thanks to all the dear SY students. Like they have enthusiastically participated. They prepared the questions. They asked the questions confidently, and I'm hopeful that they will be the good researcher next time for the Urjita 23. Okay. So now moving ahead, I would like to invite Dr. Rekha Randive, Madam, Vice Principal of Faculty of Home Science, to address the audience and give the overview of today's event. Welcome you, Rekha ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Ritu. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here today to give an overview of today's research competition, Urjita. Faculty of Home Science of Srimati P.N. Doshi Women's College announces interdisciplinary UG Home Science, Home Economics, Intercollegiate Students Mini Research Competition, Urjita, every year since its inception from 2016 onwards. So we are proud to say that we have completed 6 successful years in organizing the competition. The education mode has witnessed a trend of diversification. In the midst of raging pandemic, students are cooped up at home and compelled to undertake online courses. Education landscape is no longer confined to a situation where there's a teacher standing in front of a group of students. But there's no doubt that this shift has its own advantages. The online teaching advantages has crossed the boundaries of geographic limitations and boosted the sharing of educational resources, and hence the promotion of educational equality, which we have experienced today as the competition has crossed all the geographical barriers. This shift in technology has evolved for better job markets, which are in the form of various forms, that is app developers, social media, and cloud computing, etc., which is giving us more leeway to seek out our own niche. Nevertheless, we can take initiatives by implementing some more strategies to face the overwhelming changes. To begin with, we are required to conduct a lifelong learning, which was also mentioned by our keynote speaker, Dr. Marla Pandurang Madam, so as to empower ourselves with in-depth knowledge. This does not mean that we should immerse ourselves in the textbooks, but we can expose ourselves to some challenging and salutary practice as a way to enrich our social and life experiences, which could be executed in both academic and in a more entertaining way. It is said that adversity and hope often go hand in hand. So do opportunity and challenges, and hence change the world. In this competition, we had 3 colleges participating: BMN Nanavati College of Home Science, Matunga, NN College of Home Science, and Srimati B. N. Doshi Women's College of Home Science, Ghatkopar. A total of 11 paper presentations were done online, and each paper presenter has done a marvelous presentation in their research which they had undertaken. The judges had a tough time judging the research work of our budding researchers. The success of today's endeavor, I must say, is the idea which has been generated today to overcome the challenges and finding new findings and new opportunities in this changing scenario. I also believe that as long as we equip ourselves with wisdom, persistence, and poise, we can well harness chances and bravely face challenges in the path ahead. Thank you. And over to Ritu. Over to Ritu.
Thank you, Rekha ma'am. Keep you waiting for long, and to announce this year's
It's getting stuck here.
I apologize for the net connectivity.
Ritu, shall I ask Amrita to take over? If connectivity issue hai wahan pe.
Yes, please, we can just move on.
So I will taking over from Ritu. I will now request Bishnupriya ma'am to share her thoughts, followed by Aarti, and then the announcement of the result. Thank you. Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Sorry, madam, for this net problem.
Okay,
Ritu, Bishnupriya ma'am is taking it ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, Vishwapriya ma'am.
Okay. I must praise the organizers first for taking the trouble in this kind of after pandemic situation to conduct a research. It was not easy for them nor for the students. I'm sure it has been very difficult, and still you have done a very good job, all the organizers and the students. The students, I must congratulate each and every one of you for your hard work that you have done. At the undergraduate level, I did not expect such good topics and such relevant topics and such hard work. It was really good, each and every one. Somebody has to come first, somebody has to come second. But that does not mean the others have not done well. Everybody has done well. If you have not got the prize, you do better next time. There's always chance for improvement. And I'm sure it will be a stepping stone for you to do better and better in your life as you go on doing research work. May you all researchers achieve. May you all researchers achieve the highest level of research and get PhD degrees. That is my blessing to all the students. It was very difficult for us to judge, but we had to do our job. We had to do our work. And so somebody has come first and somebody has come second, but everybody was good. Okay, thank you for calling me, P.N. Doshi College Management and the staff. It was enjoyable. I really enjoyed it after years.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
My dear young budding researcher, you all have exhibited excellent research presentation. Your theme, Challenges and Opportunities in the Changing World, was very apt to the current scenario that the world faced during COVID times. Indeed, your hard work and your teachers' sincere efforts can be visualized and evaluated through your presentation. I'll just say, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be a great. No matter who wins, all have put in equal efforts. So all the best and best wishes for your future endeavor too. So coming to the results. Vishnupriya ma'am, shall I go ahead with the result or you will announce the result?
No, no, definitely. Go ahead. I'm there with you.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So third prize goes to group 2, title Challenges Faced by Family Members in Elderly Care During COVID-19 Pandemic. Second prize to group 10, Work from Home, a Boon for Teachers. And first prize goes to group 3, Chrononutrition and Management of Diabetes in Changing World. So congratulations team, all the best. Ma'am, would you like to?
Thank you, ma'am.
See, entire team was best. It was very difficult to judge. But then we have to get first, second, and third. So it was very struggling task for us. So all have done very well.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You, Ritu ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Aarti. I'm very thankful. We are very thankful to Vishnupriya ma'am and Aarti ma'am for helping us in this, the whole Urjita process by evaluating all the papers, by patiently listening. So we are very thankful to you, ma'am, for sparing your time for us. Thank you, Aarti madam and Vishnupriya ma'am. Now, move ahead. Everything comes to its final moment. And with this, we have reached the final part of Urjita. I would like to now invite Dr. Shobha Bharat Madam to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, Dr. Shobha.
Thank you, Ritu ma'am. A very good afternoon to one and all. I would like to express my deep gratitude to the trustees of SPRJ Kanyashala Trust for their constant support in all our endeavors. A sincere thank you to our ever enthusiastic director of SPRJ Kanyashala Trust, Dr. S. Kumdavalli. My heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed keynote speaker for today, Professor Marla Pandurang. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking time out of your busy schedule to be the keynote speaker for the intercollegiate research competition and giving insights about research and motivating our students. My heartfelt thanks and appreciation to our dynamic principal who is constantly motivating and supporting all the activities undertaken by the staff members and the students of the Faculty of Home Science. Her keen interest and passion for research is an inspiration to all the staff members and students. I would like to place on record our deepest gratitude to our esteemed judges, Dr. Das Gupta and Dr. Arthur Varma, for their painstaking efforts to sit patiently and listen to each of the research presentations by our budding researchers. When an event is highly competitive, it becomes difficult for the judges to decide the first 3 from the seemingly equal performances. It is here that we consider ourselves fortunate to have had your expertise to discern the subtle differences and arrive at a perfect judgment. You're sitting through the entire session with concentration all the while to evaluate the groups is an eloquent testimony of your devotion to your chosen field of learning and sincerity of purpose as a judge. We are happy to acknowledge the presence of our IQAC coordinator, Mr. Raju Chauhan sir. To Dr. Rekha Randive, the Vice Principal of the Home Science Faculty, I would like to say a big thank you for encouraging each one of us to give our best for all the activities of the faculty. She has been a huge support in mobilizing various resources to make this event successful. A big thank you to all the faculty members of the Home Science Faculty for their wonderful efforts towards this webinar. Ms. Amrita Behel for being the convener of today's research competition. We sincerely acknowledge the tremendous efforts to plan, implement, and coordinate this event with immense grace. Dr. Manisha Parelkar, Sonali Doshi, and myself took charge as the scientific committee. Dr. Ritu Bhatia and Ms. Sonali Doshi for taking charge of correspondence committee, and also Dr. Ritu Bhatia wore another cap where she compared the entire event. I express my sincere gratitude to both of them. Ms. Lopa Devrukar and Ms. Vaibhavi Mehta Pandya for being in charge of the registration committee. Thank you, Ms. Nidhi Dattani, for taking responsibility as the treasurer for the Urjita competition. I appreciate the efforts taken by Mr. Sanil Bavle and Madhura Shirsak as the technical team for this event. Ms. Dr. Nimisha Kamli and Sabiha also pitched in for the technical support. We truly appreciate your patience and help to this event. Sincere appreciation and acknowledgement to all the participating teams for today's competition. We acknowledge all your hard work and efforts to showcase your research work. This is just the beginning, and I hope your participation in this event has kindled your interest in research to take up research and invest your time, efforts, and creativity to create knowledge and make the world a better place with your innovations. I express my gratitude to all the student delegates for their presence and active participation and encouragement to the participating teams. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful day and all the very best to each one of you in every one of your endeavors. Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shobha Bharat, for this formal vote of thanks. Now, with this, we conclude 2022 Urjita competition, and we wish all of you great success in your TY exams, and also the SYs also, that both the groups, we are wishing you well for the exam, and also the TYs that you excel in your career path. Once again, thanks to all of you. Stay safe, stay healthy. Signing off from this platform. Thank you all.
I just want to